Hello, welcome to... Very excited sofa because it is nearly Christmas, of course. We've got loads of games to bring you. 6 3 o'clock games and a great sofa. Pleased to say, first up, sat alongside me, a man who has 3 ex-clubs playing today. Steve Sidwell. Steve, how are you?
Just the 3, there's many more. There's a few more ex-clubs.
Yeah.
We'll go through them later on.
Yeah, great to have you back on the show. And, of course, from Football Daily, Chris Hamill and Dave Jackson. Chris, how you been, mate? Good week?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm just working out how to get this on my head because it's huge and these hats, you know, quite small, aren't they?
That must be a tricky situation for you.
Very tricky. Apart from that, very excited about the Leicester game, young Chowdhury playing.
Yeah.
See how he fares against the top side once again.
Yeah.
David, how are you?
I'm buzzing. Arsenal won. 3-1.
Yes, you're very happy about that, Dave. And
I am.
You're in social corners today, Dave, so just remind the viewers how they can get in touch.
Your questions in with the hashtag The Football Social on Football Daily's YouTube, Football Daily's Instagram, Football Daily's Twitter, Football Daily's Facebook, Soccer M's Twitter, Soccer M's YouTube, all of the social platforms. Get them in, hashtag Football Social, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Yeah, we'll give you a name check, read out the best ones. And, of course, in the armchair, watching all of our other games. So Chelsea and Leicester is our feature game, and we're also going to be covering the Man City game as well, Man City versus Palace. But there's another 4 games going on. Will Brazier from Sport is in the hot seat. Will, remind us what 4 games you're watching, mate.
Yeah, we're watching Bournemouth versus Brighton, Huddersfield, Southampton, Newcastle, Fulham and West Ham versus Watford.
And of those 4, what are you most excited about?
Most looking forward to Huddersfield versus Southampton,
Why?
to see if their new manager can carry on his winning.
Hassan Hurtle.
Hasn't heard.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Quick one for you, though, Smithy.
Go on.
Where does mistletoe go to become famous? Quick one.
Laughland, something Lapland, Laughland related?
Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yeah, good.
Well done, Will.
Well done.
And if you've got any better Christmas, get them in the comment section.
Yeah,
Christmas
get
jokes.
your Christmas jokes in the comment section and they will be read out by Will.
Yeah, by Will. Of course, it wouldn't be the Football Social without the traditional Football Social accumulator.
Get on it!
Come on!
Get on it!
Big one. We've given Steve Sidwell 2 results to pick. Steve, you've gone for a draw between Bournemouth and Brighton, and you've gone for a Chelsea win against Leicester. Dave, you've gone for Southampton to be too much at Huddersfield. Chris Hamill has gone for Man City to beat Crystal Palace. Will Brazier has gone for Newcastle to beat Fulham, and I've gone for a draw in the West Ham-Watford game. Tough one to predict that. Sky bet odds of 110 to 1 on that. If you back that now, don't forget you must be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply. For more information, go to skybet.com. Right, and we will be updating you with all the in-play betting as well during the show, of course. But we can show you now the Premier League table. 1 game earlier on today. Dave Jackson was very happy to see his beloved Arsenal beat Burnley 3-1.
Yeah, I thought the boys played well.
Thought they played well?
I don't know. They got the job done.
Got the job done, and it means Burnley stay in the bottom 3. 12 points from 18 points. Huddersfield in 19th, and Fulham, Steve, one of your ex-clubs, rock bottom, 9 points from 17 games. Not going great guns for them at the minute.
Not looking good at the moment, no.
OK, let's have a look at the top. Liverpool will be top on Christmas Day. 48 points from 18 played, plus 32 goal difference. No matter what the result of Man City, Liverpool remain top. Interestingly, the last 4 teams to have been top on Christmas Day have all gone on to win the Premier League. The last team to be top at Christmas and failed to win the Premier League was Liverpool, interestingly. Man City in 2nd, Spurs in 3rd, Chelsea 4th, Arsenal equal on points in 5th, but they do have that game in hand. Still smiling, Dave, about the Arsenal game.
I am. I thought, they didn't play particularly well, particularly after 2 losses. I think it was very important that we got back to winning ways today, and they did. 2 goals from Aubameyang.
You was nervous at one point, though.
You were nervous,
There were a few moments where I was a little bit twitchy. But, I just think it's very important because obviously going into the Christmas period, we've got a lot of games coming up.
Yeah, a lot of games. Lots of games.
Able to rest Torreira as well.
Yeah, he came in,
did well.
like the last 20 minutes, which was good.
Not a huge fan of El Neni, are you?
I'm not his biggest fan, but...
Ozil back as well?
Ozil played all right today.
He did well for the first goal, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He did very well.
Do you think he'll stay?
I hope he does, because it's these kind of games where we need someone to unlock a defence. Yeah. And I remember even the game against Southampton that we lost, we actually missed someone like Ozil there that can just get hold of the ball.
And creativity.
Yeah, a little bit of creativity.
So, equal with Chelsea on points, but Chelsea have that game in hand, which is our feature game.
Yes.
We can have a look at the team news. It is in Chelsea versus Leicester. This is the team that Sarri has gone for. Kepa in goal. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Luiz and Alonso make up the back 4. Kante, Jorginho and Kovacic in that midfield 3 that we've seen so regularly this season. And Pedro, Hazard and Williams. So, Steve, interestingly there, again, Chelsea not going with a recognised striker. They're going with Hazard in that false 9 role. What do you make of that?
All the successful Chelsea teams you look previously always had that main focal point, didn't they? The Costas, Drogba.
That number 9.
Yeah. They need one. desperately. To challenge Liverpool and City at the top and really go for it, they need a focal point.
And as well as the fact they haven't got a recognised striker, obviously Eden Hazard is a world-class player, but is that the best position for Eden Hazard? Because
he doesn't stay there, does he?
It's not his most favourable position.
No, I mean, I watched it. Obviously, they played Brighton, didn't they, last week, and same kind of tactics, wasn't it? And that front three just roam, didn't they? They just roam and they try and drag defenders out and exploit spaces in behind. So when you've got pace up front, defenders hate it, and them three have definitely got pace.
Yeah, there's the main man, Eden Hazard, a man on such form, goals and assists galore this season. Chris, do Chelsea need to buy a striker? That is the question we're going with on the stream. Do you think they will buy a striker in January, or do you think they'll wait till the summer? What's your take on what they need to do up top?
It's difficult because there's not a lot of top number 9s out there who would be available come January. You're looking at Mauro Icardi, Timo Werner from RB Leipzig, Lewandowski, all upwards of £100 million at this point. And are Chelsea going to spend that in January when Sarri can probably squeeze, 5-10 goals out of his wide players and sort of see them through to the end of the season? Probably not. I imagine it will be a bigger rebuild job in the summer. They can take great heart from where they are already, how much progress they've made already. But Hazard may just have to play a little bit selflessly. We've seen it post-match. He's not been the biggest fan of playing in that position, less touches, sort of less general involvement, but he's been involved in more goals than starts at the moment, hasn't he? So he's experiencing a certain degree of success up there, but, yeah, Morata, I don't think Sarri's convinced by Morata.
Not in the squad today,
no.
Morata.
Not at all. And Giroud, what's he approaching? 33, 30,
The interesting thing about Giroud, though, which I thought, is that Eden Hazard likes playing with Giroud. The famous post-match conference he gave that time when he said he's one of the best in that position, because I think it frees up Eden Hazard, doesn't it? Yeah. So I think Hazard likes playing with Giroud as a number 9.
You can see as soon as they link up and they're on the pitch together, he's got a confidence about him as he has. He knows they got that sort of telepathy there where he knows where he's going to be. A lot of the goals, they feed off each other well, creates a lot of space for him. Interesting stat come up the other week about Hazard's not scored a Premier League goal whilst being on the same pitch at the same time as Morata.
Wow. Yeah. Interesting. And it sort of emphasised what we were saying about the fact that he seems to like playing with Giroud. Interestingly, Eden Hazard is 1 goal away from becoming the 10th Chelsea player to reach 100 goals for the clubs. He's been involved in the most Premier League goals this season. 8 goals and 9 assists. Any questions on the stream about Chelsea, Dave?
There's a few saying who they should potentially bring in. One person is saying maybe bring Callum Wilson in. And there's another guy, it's quite interesting, he's a little bit rogue, a little bit left field. He's saying potentially bring back Tammy Abraham from his loan and just give him a go.
Interesting. It's an interesting point, though, because Chelsea have been so successful at youth level. We're speaking to Jody Morris when we've done bits with them in the past, and they won the treble, then they won another treble at youth level. Of course, he's now gone to be Frank Lampard's assistant at Derby, but Chelsea have got such a fantastic youth academy, but a lot of those players are out on loan and then don't seem to be given the chance for Chelsea. Do you think that is an issue that Chelsea have, or is it just that they're always chasing immediate success, that it's very difficult to break into the first team?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously very difficult to break into the first team, but if they're so successful at youth team, then they obviously must have the best young kids around, whether they're English or foreign. So, if they're winning it at that level, give them a chance. How do you know if they're going to be able to do it at the top level? Just give them a chance. Let's sink or swim. I'd love to see Loftus-Cheek and Ross Barkley playing the same team. It won't happen, but just give them a chance. Just go for it.
Yeah, you can't see that happening.
I can't see Anasari, them as frequently playing sort of week in, week out. No, I can't see it. It'd be always one or the other.
OK. No. Leicester City, their team is out. Let's have a look at the Leicester team that will be playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Schmeichel in goal, back four of Ricardo, Morgan, Maguire and Chilwell. Chowdhury, Mendy and Ndidi in the midfield with Albrighton, Vardy and James Maddison. Steve, I was very intrigued midweek when Leicester played Man City in the Carabao Cup quarter-final match. They made so many changes. Now, you can sort of understand it when a team's fighting relegation, but Leicester are a very comfortable mid-table team. And it went to penalties, that game. And I saw a lot of fans after the game, Leicester fans, were quite angry, actually, is probably the right word, that they made so many changes. Could you understand that?
No, I can't stand it. I hate things like that. You're in a cup competition, go for it. I know the Premier League is the bread and butter and there's all the money in the world there and the clubs need that to retain buying strikers and buying players. But, just go for it. As you say, they lost on penalties. If they'd have had a strong team now, who knows what could happen?
Yeah, and badly need goals. Iheanacho not scored in his last 13 appearances. Shinji Okazaki not scored in his last 31 appearances. Jamie Vardy scored just 2 penalties in his last 9 appearances. Did you see Jamie Vardy's comments, Chris? I wanted to get your thoughts on this midweek about the way that they play under Claude Puel has taken a bit of adaptation, and it's sometimes sort of frustration because it's taking time to learn the system, and the style that they play is very different to the year they won the league, wasn't it, when they played on the counter a lot, very quick, and Claude Puel seems to want them to play the right way, but it's not really materialising this season, is it?
Yeah, I mean, he's struggling for an attacking partner as well.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's experiencing some individual frustrations that they're not playing in a sort of 4-4-1-1 now, with Okazaki doing a lot of work behind him, and Okazaki's link-up play was very good when Jamie Vardy was posting very good results. But I think for the first time in a couple of years, Leicester in the Premier League have edged possession in games over sides of a similar level, and that kind of intimates what sort of football that Puel wants to play. It's all about control, damage limitation. There's certain parallels with Ranieri in that a lot is still played on the counter. But yeah, it's creating a bit more, isn't it? You can see that with this lineup, the sort of 4-5-1 that he's got going. There's a little bit more security in that midfield, maybe a little bit more ball retention, and I mean, Jamie Vardy's probably going to be feeding off scraps today.
Yeah, lost their last 3 games in all competitions, Leicester, so they badly need a win in that one. We just saw scenes of the players coming out the tunnel. These are scenes at Stamford Bridge. Of course, one man against his former club, N'Golo Kante. Steve, a lot of talk about N'Golo Kante this year, playing in a very different role under Sarri, and it's very much split opinion with pundits. We've seen him win the Premier League with Chelsea, the Premier League with Leicester, the World Cup with France, playing in that central figure. He's now the right of the 3. What do you make of what Sarri's trying to do with N'Golo Kante?
Well, obviously, we know that Sarri likes to press high. We've seen him in games like that. So he's obviously thinking, if we're pressing high and we can win the ball high up the pitch, there's less distance to go to score. That's why he wants Kante doing it. Look at the goal against Fulham. Obviously, the first goal, won the ball back on the halfway line. Before you know it, it's in the back of the net. So I can see what he's doing, but for me, he's the best player in the world at just sitting in there and just literally sweeping everything up. I mean, he covers so much distance and so much ground, and he's got quality on the ball as well.
Yeah. It is fascinating, isn't it, the N'Golo Kante situation? And Sarri actually said, I don't see him in the central role. I see him,
but they don't
see him in that role.
They don't need a destroyer when they've got so much control in games. They're averaging, I think they're second maybe to Manchester City, between 60-65% on average in a game each week. These scenes at the stadium,
these are the scenes. Speaking of Man City, Man City versus Palace, Pep Guardiola makes 2 changes from the win against Everton. John Stones will start in midfield in place of Fernandinho, whilst Raheem Sterling replaces Riyad Mahrez. Sergio Aguero and Kevin De Bruyne start on the bench. Palace, who won without Wilfried Zaha last weekend, have their forward back in the starting line. Midfielder Jeff Schlupp and centre-back James Tompkins come in, with Chet Kouyaté and Martin Kelly sidelined through injury. So big game for Man City and big game for Palace as well. We can have a look at the scenes at West Ham as well. These are the scenes at the London Stadium. West Ham unchanged from the 2-0 win at Fulham last weekend. Don't forget, West Ham won 4 on the bounce, going great guns at the minute. There are the bubbles being blown, as always, pre-match at the Olympic Stadium, the London Stadium, sorry. Watford made just 1 change from their 3-2 win against Cardiff. Etienne Capoue returns from a 3-match ban to replace former West Ham youngster Domingos Quina.
Massive game for Newcastle.
Big game for Newcastle, big game for Fulham, another one of Steve's former clubs. And Newcastle made 2 changes to the side, which narrowly beat Huddersfield 1-0 last weekend. Paul Dummett comes in for Kennedy, whilst Matt Ritchie replaces Kieran Clark. This is just 1 change for Fulham from their 2-0 defeat to West Ham. Cyrus Christie replaces Abubakar Kamara. Massive game for Fulham.
Massive game.
Steve, must-win game for you?
Yeah, I think it is. Just not. It's obviously not the decisive one for the season, but I think for this period now, where these games, if you can get off to a win, this Christmas period, you don't realise how big it is as a footballer in that dressing room. If you get off to a good start, this week is massive. You get into January, you start seeing where teams sort of lie.
And we can have a look at the scenes at the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth and Brighton both suffered defeats last weekend in the Premier League, and they make 3 changes apiece today. Eddie Howe recalls Simon Francis, Callum Wilson and David Brooks to his starting 11. Ryan Fraser drops to the bench, interestingly. Chris Hughton names Yves Bissouma, Florian Andone and Jurgen Locadia in his lineup, as Anthony Knockaert, Dale Stephens and Glenn Murray all drop to the bench.
Strange one. Glenn Murray not starting.
Is it Sean? Thoughts on that? Glenn Murray's been in great form.
Again, I think he's just obviously resting players and that, but, you know, big game that is down at Bournemouth.
Yeah, very big game. And these are the scenes that Huddersfield against Southampton. David Wagner makes 2 changes to the Huddersfield side that slipped to a 1-0 defeat at home to Newcastle last Saturday. Steve Mounier back from a 3-match ban up front, and Isaac Mbenza, who comes in for De Poitre and Hogg. Ralph Hasenhüttl names the exact same side that started the 3-2 win against Arsenal last weekend. How impressed were you with Ralph Hasenhüttl against Arsenal?
Yeah, brilliant. Superb,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And on the touchline as well. Very young Klopp-esque, isn't it? Very animated.
I love that. I'm a big fan of that. You show emotion. That's what football's all about. You know, let's not be sort of calm and placid, but, you know, just go for it. I love this. I love it, yeah.
Chris, you spoke quite in depth, actually, about Ralph Hasenhüttl and his role in RB Leipzig. From what you said in that show to now, was it quite similar to how you saw his team set up? Is this exactly what you think we'll see from Southampton, that high press, that intensity and that energy throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, it just made perfect sense for Southampton to employ someone like him. Traditionally, his sides have always overperformed in attack. We saw it with Leipzig when they had their maiden season in the Bundesliga, and he sort of extrapolated the best from the likes of Forsberg, who was his creator in that side, from Timo Werner, who I think registered 20 goals in his career for the first time under him. So I think Danny Ings will be a relief man, that's for sure, because he was playing brilliantly, even under Mark Hughes' more kind of stifled conservative brand of football. But let's see if he can get the best out of Nathan Redmond. There's very capable players in that side. Højbjerg, and they've got some great, you know, attacking fullbacks as well, like Ryan Bertrand. So I think they've actually married, the Southampton board, the style of the manager and the preference of the players really well on this occasion. And there's certain, you know, sort of parallels, I suppose, with managers that came before Hughes, so that transition may not be as big for him. You know, Pochettino, Koeman, Pellegrini, one of them, always get confused. It was a little bit more defensive. But no, they need to go for it at this point. Like, draws, when you're in Southampton's precarious position, you know, draws are no longer a decent result. They need wins, and that was huge against Arsenal, wasn't it?
Massive win for Southampton. Right, all of our games have just started. Will, we had a groan from you over in the armchair. What was the first chance of the day?
No, just slight thigh strain on me there, Smithy. That was no, it was Bournemouth going down the left-hand side. Stanislas working his way through. They've got a very dangerous free kick on the left-hand side. You're going to be in swinging. And Huddersfield starting quite brightly against Southampton as well. And Watford just had a chance there. I think it was Delafeu. But, yeah, no goals yet. Give me goals.
Give you goals. One goal. City on the attack against Crystal Palace already. Only minutes into that game, they already have a corner, piling the pressure on Crystal Palace. I think that'll take a monumental effort in that game for Crystal Palace to get anything out of that one.
A Christmas miracle, if you will, Smith.
Christmas miracle, I like it. Don't forget to get your questions in to us as well on the stream at Football Daily, at SoccerM, using the hashtag #TheFootballSocial. Let's go to Dave in Social Corner. Very happy Arsenal fan. Dave, what are people talking about?
Yes, people are... There's a lot of love for Steve. And there's
Sorry, carry on.
One guy asking if he can come in and save Reading. I don't know. There's another question. There's a question here saying, is Virgil van Dijk the best defender in the league? I think definitely.
In the league, yeah.
I think Laporte might have something to say about that at Manchester City, yeah. But he's definitely up there, isn't he? Did you see that tweet about him from Sky Sports? Always on brand today. about him completing the most passes, the most interceptions, the most aerial duels, the most clearances. He's just been an absolute mammoth, hasn't he?
Yeah, and also Liverpool defensively in general as well, since Van Dijk has been there. I think they've conceded 7. It's a record. The amount of goals they've conceded at this stage of the season is a record, equal with a couple of the Chelsea teams of years gone by. 7 goals at this stage of the season. And also, we saw last night as well, not only is he great at the back, he scores goals as well. And that was a good finish for a centre-back, wasn't it? Which shows that technically he's a very capable player.
Yeah, do you know what? Full credit to Liverpool, because they've identified last year where they need to improve.
Yeah.
Obviously, goalkeeper, centre-half, went out, splashed the cash, got them, and they're looking... I mean, they're going to go toe-to-toe with City the whole way out. They've got every chance of winning it, every chance.
That was big last night as well, because that pitch was rank as well, wasn't it, when they were trying to play football?
And also, Wolves had chances in that game early on, but Liverpool are just so clinical now. And not just at the back, but the amount of goal contributions they have throughout
all
the
over
pitch.
the pitch, yeah.
Shaqiri scoring, Milner scoring, Mane, they're all contributing, which I think is a lot easier for them than last season when they seemed, from the outside, very reliant on Mo Salah. If Mo Salah wasn't having a good game, they were very reliant on him, whereas now, even though he's the top goal scorer, they've got goals coming from
the standards and levels that he set, not just him, obviously the front three in themselves, you know, to reach them 40-odd goals week in, week, season in, season out. I mean, there's some go in that, but they need everyone else to start chipping in, which they've got, you know, and that's where I worry for Chelsea. Obviously, they haven't got the number 9, so they need everyone else to start chipping in, but, you know, Hazard will always get you the goals. Pedro, Willian, they're chipping for a few, then there's not much more else.
Firmino's not going to probably score more than 20 in the league. I don't think he's ever registered. I think last season was his best season and he put up 15, but what you're saying is that, Liverpool have a guaranteed goals from wide areas, which I imagine is what Sarri's going to have to hope for in the form of Pedro, because Pedro had an incredible 18 months actually under Antonio Conte, and he's more than capable of scoring 12.
And you mentioned there the lack of number 9 that Chelsea are starting with. On your screen now, there is a prize boost in our feature game. 4 minutes into our feature game, it is 0-0 still between Chelsea and Leicester.
Cracker, that
Hazard to score the first goal. Was 9-4, that is now 5-2. That is a prize boost with Sky Bet. Don't forget, you must be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply.
Price boost!
There we go. Good price boost. I mean, Hazard to score first.
Lovely price boost.
He's always worth a bet, isn't it? I mean, never right.
I've actually put a pound on James
on that note, Will Brage has got a gag for us from the Christmas cracker. What you got for us, mate?
Thanks, Smithy. What?
Don't know.
Apple Grumble.
Hey! Oh, by the way, these are shocking.
Chance for Man City. Just want to replay that chance for Man City. It seems to be all Man City against Crystal Palace. Will, let's come to you in your 4 games. Anything of note to tell us so far?
West Ham had a very good chance down the right-hand side, which cut out by the Watford centre-back, and Brighton have gone close in their game. Shot from distance going over the bar, but nothing of note yet, Smithy.
Nothing of note. OK.
I need them.
I have a question.
Go on.
From Bobby Coventry. Great name, that is,
Good name.
He has asked, is Phil Foden the future of English football?
He sounds like a second-hand car sale.
Wow.
Bobby Coventry. Talk to me.
Bobby, get back in. What do you do as a career? Because we're all fascinated.
And where are you from?
Yeah. Bobby Coventry. Hang on, ref! He's off! He's not.
All right, OK, what was the question?
It was, is Phil Foden the future of English football?
Is Phil Foden the future of English football? Let's answer the question.
Do you know what I think will be the most defining player for England over the next 10 years? Probably Dele Alli.
Dele Alli?
He's only 22 years old. And Dele Alli this year, I was reading some stats on the way in on a train, you know, a long old train, and he's putting in 3 times as many tackles as he did in previous seasons, completing around 75% of them, and he's completing more defensive pressures, which is, you know, pressing the ball and winning it back, than Kante and Sergio Busquets. So this is a guy he was an attacking midfielder last year. Now he's sort of a defensive winger this year. He can just play a number of roles, and he's so well-rounded, and his match intelligence is so high.
I totally agree with that.
I think he will just be the fulcrum of any England side going forward.
But as well as that, he scores. His goals-to-game ratio as a young Premier League history, I think it's more than Beckham, Gerrard,
61 goal contributions in his first 100 games.
Yeah, the amount of goals he scored for someone at that age is like unparalleled.
Phenomenal.
But also he scored midweek, of course, David.
Yeah, but do you think he'll go to Man United with Pochettino?
Oh. He's even got a red hat to match his red Arsenal shirt, which he wasn't wearing on Wednesday night when Spurs won 1-0. Thoughts on that game, Dave? 2-0, sorry.
I think we got what we deserve, really, and that's life.
That's life.
That's life. Will, a few groans from you in the armchair. I know that you get very excited when a goal goes in.
Yeah.
What happened?
Not had a goal yet.
It's nothing.
Not had a goal yet, Smithy, but Matthew Targett working it down the left-hand side. Low cross. Lossell pushed it out into the danger zone, but no Southampton player there to tap it home. They've also got a man down, but it's still 0-0.
OK.
Just watching the Man City game, it's only a matter of time before they score.
Yeah, Man City's our second game as well. City fans, let's hear from City fans as well, because interestingly, a lot of the bookmakers, a lot of the
Brooks has taken one to the baubles there, Smithy.
Still have Man City as favourites, but obviously they will go into Christmas Day second, no matter what happens today. But it does look like it is only a matter of time before Man City score in that one.
We're big fans of David Brooks on the Football Social, Smithy, and he's just gone down with a slight head injury there. He's back up on his feet, but he's only a young lad, looks quite slender to the frame, so hopefully he's going to be all right.
Well said. Corner for Man City. We'll stick with this one as it's whipped in. Chance. Oh!
Just wide.
This chance is glorious, Smith.
It's going to be a goal.
It's going to be goals galore, isn't there?
I think so. Gabriel Jesus' double were his first Premier League goal was in 13 appearances when he scored in his last outing for City, and he's starting again here. What a player to have to rotate with Sergio Aguero during this busy Christmas period. And is this why... Is this why you think City are going to win the league, chaps? Because
the bench is so... I mean, Kevin De Bruyne and Aguero on the bench.
sickening.
Kevin De Bruyne has not started a Premier League match all season.
Is that true?
Wow. Not started a Premier League match all season, and they've coped with him phenomenally. Yeah.
Right.
Kevin De Bruyne.
Fabian Delph is still their left back. He's a central midfielder from Aston Villa. No disrespect to Delph, he's a great player, but this Pep Guardiola is winning the league with a central midfielder at left back.
But the point I'm making is that the fact that De Bruyne hasn't played, Aguero's been out injured as well. If Harry Kane and Eriksen were out for Spurs, or Eden Hazard was out for Chelsea,
have we seen the best Manchester City?
But you've
Probably
noticed
not.
it. But Man City, even with their best players out, have so many options.
Yeah, and the
chance.
mad thing on top of that is that they're all improving. Everyone at Man City is improving under Guardiola. It's like phenomenal.
And it's noticeable when they play Leicester in the Carabao Cup and they're making so many changes. You look at their team sheet and think, is that not their strongest 11? Because it's so strong.
Yeah, it's frightening.
That even when they play a second-string team, they're capable of potentially winning a cup competition.
Yeah, I mean, even the people on the peripheries of the squad are wanted by Real Madrid, like Brian Diaz. Like, I'm not getting a game, I'm just going to go to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I mean, inevitably they'll loan him out, but whatever.
Yeah. Will, a few more groans. I feel like we're very close to our first goal.
It's all Brighton in the Bournemouth versus Brighton game, so Steve will be very here to that. Basuma again working it. He had one from outside the area, but worked his way into the box. Very leggy centre midfielder, but went out for a corner.
Oh, sorry.
Steve, I'm sorry, William. You as well. We've got 6 games going on. 3 of your ex-clubs playing. It's
brilliant.
Brighton, Fulham, Chelsea. Where are you watching? Which one?
I'm all over. I'm all over.
Steve, which club do you love the most?
Oh, which club do I love the most?
Who you played for?
Well, I'm a big Chelsea fan. I was a big Chelsea fan before I signed.
Aston Villa, then?
I love Villa. Yeah, to be fair, I don't dislike any of my clubs.
No, that's fair.
No.
Just had to find out if it was Villa.
Will was a big Birmingham fan.
Oh, yeah, I could tell by the face. Grimace after he said Villa. Villa.
Big game for Birmingham today, of course, Will, as well. Do you want to give us your latest 1-minute talk on Birmingham?
We just lost 300 viewers.
Keep it quick.
In Gary Monk we trust. I think he'll get us in the playoffs if we can spend well in January, but FFPP have denied us that, so you've got to work.
We've been told to move on, Will. Thank you very much. Leicester chance. Oh!
Got to roll with the punches. Leicester playing some very nice stuff here. Particularly, James Maddison stringing together another attack that won in this corner.
Whipping the ball.
Smithy, I've had a pound on him, his first goal.
Very weak appeal for a penalty. I think quite rightly not given.
James Maddison
still on the attack.
Coventry's finest. Wonder if that...
All Brighton can whip a ball in, can't he?
Is superb. Do you know what he does is he just gets half a yard and just goes bang. Doesn't muck around, doesn't try and sort of beat an opponent. Look, half a yard.
Open a tin of beans with that.
Incredible.
I think he's left-footed. Open a jam jar with that left foot.
So 12 minutes gone in all of our games, still 0-0. Dave, let's go to you in Social Corner whilst it is still 0-0 in all our games before we get goals galore flooding in. What have you got for us?
I've got a few questions about Manchester United.
Get in touch as well.
Yeah, you can get in touch by using the hashtag Football Social on all of Football Daily and Soccer AM social platforms. Do you want to talk about Manchester United or not? Also, I find a different question.
I
don't really care about Man United. I hate them. Everything about them.
You are governing Social
All right, I'll give you a
Corner.
question. All right, can Maddison become a player as good as someone like Dele Alli? That's been sent in by Sherian the Gamer. It's probably not.
Okay. James Maddison, 5 Premier League goals this season.
They
Top
are
people score
actually
for Leicester.
the same age, which I think people don't realise. I think Maddison's a little bit younger. Of course, he's done the hard yards in the Championship as well, but... Steve
he's been a standout player for me. I mean, his first game up at Old Trafford against United, first game, he was outstanding. And from then on, he's just progressed. So, can he reach the same height as Dele Alli? He's certainly got the tools to do it, but it's about consistency.
I think he'll be in and around the England squad. He was called up, wasn't he?
Definitely.
I think with Gareth Southgate's philosophy, he loves playing youth, doesn't he? So I certainly imagine that they'll use him.
Well, it's not
really around squads. I think the difference with Dele Alli is I see him as a focal point of the England team. You sort of almost have to play. So, and I think you make a great point. The fact that you're comparing 2 players of the similar age, and the question is, can he reach the heights of someone his own age? Speaks more about Dele Alli than it does about James Maddison.
Watford! Delafeu! Brought it back!
Hello?
Dini! No, sorry.
Can you elaborate on what actually happened there, Will?
Yeah, Watford broke through, broke the last man, and Delafeu tried to take it round the keeper, but fair play to him, stood up and then kept the move going, and Dini's shot was deflected, and nothing has come of it.
Breaking news, we have to interrupt you there. Mark is coming in with the teas, the floor manager. Happy Christmas to one of the hardest working men at Sky. Thank you very much. Is that the...
What a guy.
Thank you.
Man, what a maverick. This is... Come on, Mark.
Go on then.
If you win, like...
Oh, he's won as
There
well.
we go. Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, Mark.
OK, mate, don't milk it. Cheers, mate.
Nah, milk it, mate.
Still 0-0. Steve, what you made of...
Southampton! Go!
First goal of the game! Who
Get on it! All aboard the Acker! Nathan Redmond has scored for Southampton. The transformation has begun and they're 1-0 up at Huddersfield. Lovely ball slipped through, one-on-one with the keeper, and he's not just slipped it past him, he's absolutely... I was going to swear. He's absolutely blasted it past him. Gone top bins. Nathan Redmond.
A goal that he needed, Nathan Redmond. We were talking about him earlier.
I love him.
I mean,
I love him.
How many times did we see... I mean, that is awful defence.
Oh, my gosh.
How many times did we see Nathan Redmond making runs beyond the strikers under Mark Hughes?
Smithy, the assist was from the lad that you interviewed the other week.
Pierre-Emile Højbjerg.
Correct,
Yeah,
yeah.
do you know what? One of the most intelligent footballers I've ever met, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. And we went there the week... We went there the week after they'd just lost to Cardiff. And it was a time when, you know, it's like when you go and meet players after they've lost a match, never the best time to be there. And it's so philosophical and talking about how he still has mates that he speaks to regularly outside of football, that he's huge on stats, that after every game, I don't know if you found this as a player, but they've got the technical coaches at Southampton, and he says within an hour he has to have he wants all of his stats.
Oh, really?
and passing.
Bournemouth are in, sorry, Smithy! Off the line! Oh, Callum Wilson put it past the keeper, and I think it was Lewis Dunk to clear it, but they're pressing. Stanislas keeps the ball alive, goes across, another big save, and it's away.
Yeah, sorry, Will. And he was saying that he needs to see them all the time because he's so big on his own performance and his stats. But I asked him about Hassan Hudson. He said one of the big changes that he makes is that he wants to be so involved in all aspects of training, coaching the players. Just like wants total control. And
I think that's the modern-day footballer now.
And Pierre-Emile Højbjerg played under Pep Guardiola famously at Bayern Munich and is still the youngest player ever to make a debut for Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga under Pep Guardiola.
Never knew that. Wow.
And,
Pep Guardiola,
Pep
Guardiola singled him out for a lot of attention at Bayern Munich. Used to stay with him after training, used to teach him, how to receive the ball, how to pass the ball, teaching him the fundamentals, because Pep was on record as saying he's one of the most talented 17, 18-year-olds he's come across, and then had a couple of big injuries, and that's derailed his career somewhat.
I think he needed to go to Southampton to get regular.
But his pedigree was unquestionable, yeah.
City! Oh,
David Luiz. Narrowly missing out there.
Now.
David Luiz.
Big chance for David Luiz.
Corner come in, I think it was. Pedro flicked it. David Luiz at the far post just missed it. And City had one as well.
What happened in the City game, Steve? We missed that.
Yeah, I think it was a cross come in. It looked like maybe Carl Walker or Gundu on the right-hand side. He went to volley it back in and... I can't see who it was who come in, but it cleared off the line. So
I'd love to see the possession stats.
Oh,
for Man
you can
City
see
Palace,
there, Palace just sitting off, they're just waiting.
I don't think I've seen them hardly touch the ball at all yet.
Palace have had a little bit of joy against big sides on the road, though, haven't they?
Yeah.
Well, again, just on the road in general, the home form.
Oh, what a clearance! Unbelievable! Newcastle, Rondon drifting off at the back post, heads it straight back across from where it came from, and it looks like it's going into the bottom corner. I think it was Lascelles, sorry, and it's been cleared by a Watford player. Literally on the line.
Loads going on, Will.
Yes.
Keep your eyes on those games because there's action. It's a tough gig you've got, isn't it?
It's a tough gig,
going on.
but I'm willing to do it, Smithy.
It's really good. Interestingly, we have just got the possession stats. 78% possession to Man City against Crystal Palace. And Palace are on the ball now, which is good, so that might aid that stat a little bit in their favour.
Do you know that Manchester City are conceding 1.5 shots on target per night on average this season? Wow. 1.5 per 90. So, I mean, what do you even say to your players as Roy Hodgson? Let's just go out there and try not to get absolutely embarrassed.
Yeah.
I mean, Zaha's back, isn't it?
Interestingly, though, that Man City haven't kept a clean sheet in their last 7 games in all competitions. So
yeah, conceded a couple of penalties as well, haven't they?
They have.
But,
I mean, for all of their strengths, and as I say, Liverpool, as I said earlier in the season, with the best defensive record in the league so far. Kante. Chance for Chelsea now.
Smithy, Brighton going close here as well. Working it down the right-hand side. It's another shot from outside the area from the Lucadia.
Yeah.
And great save down to his left.
Yeah, he's not the best time of it, has he, since joining from PSV?
Big game for him. You know, he's not really... He's been limited to chances. Obviously, Glenn Murray, I think he come in, actually, in the January. And then Glenn Murray just obviously, you know, pulled the handbrake down.
Houghton,
really just going for it. So.
Houghton not tempted to play, you know, with Tarb, him and Glenn Murray not don't dovetail well together?
No, he won't. He will never go with sort of two similar players. He'll always play with Pascal Gross and Glenn Murray, or Solly March in the hole as well. So
Steve, how underrated is Pascal Gross? I've had him in my fantasy team for a while, always getting the points.
Yeah, no, he's phenomenal. Yeah, he's surprised a lot of people, sort of come in under the radar. Technically left and right foot. Yeah. I mean, brilliant. Sort of literally, he could take a free kick, a corner on one side with his right foot, goes out. He could run across the pitch, take it with his left foot.
The stats men absolutely loved him before he joined Brighton.
Yeah.
Because I think he was creating the 7th most chances in Europe's top 5 leagues. Is that something that Brighton do? Do they do a lot of stats-based recruitment? Because a lot of their players have also been, you know, Davy Pröper and...
Yeah, not really. I think Fulham's recruitment is all based on stats, isn't it? It's that kind of moneyball, that baseball sort of thing, wasn't it? That philosophy. But I think, obviously, Chris Houghton identifies...
Brooks! Unbelievable! Goal for Bournemouth against Brighton. Talk us through it, Will Brazier.
1-0 to Bournemouth. David Brooks on the air, threatened it with his left foot, jinked it round, and then he's absolutely smashed one straight across the keeper. It must have been about 25 yards out, and it's 1-0 to Bournemouth, and David Brooks has scored it. Here it is on the replay again. Shuffles it onto his left. And once more, comes back across in the bottom of the net. 1-0 to Bournemouth.
And, Will, he's a player that all of us have been regularly raving about on the Football Social.
He's on our nice list, isn't he?
He's one that people signed. Bournemouth signed him in the summer. I don't think many people have batted an eyelid, but he's come on.
Yeah, Bournemouth need that. They are, of course, Bournemouth 7 points better off at this stage this season than they were last season, but they have lost their last 3 games in all competitions without scoring, so they are in need of a win. And, Steve, one of your former clubs... behind 1-0.
Yeah, but the away form for Brighton is horrific.
Yeah, it's bad, isn't it?
To put it bluntly, you know, honestly, it's just a mentality thing now. You know, you see a lot of games that Brighton play, and they're always in the game. Doesn't matter who they play against, there'll always be a 1-goal sort of deficit, so they'll always be in the game. But away from home, the mentality is now, I think, just to stay in the game as long as possible and then go for it the last 20 minutes, and that sometimes put on the back foot straight away.
So you've been part of a very successful team that have come up from the Championship, clearly not suffered from an inferiority complex, maybe like Brighton away from home against, well, not even bigger sides in the case of Bournemouth, but, you know, Palace here, for example, against Manchester City. How did you, with that Reading team, overcome that sort of daunting prospect of playing very clear favourites?
You just got to go for it. Just, you know... in one way, I respect what Fulham have done this year, because they've not gone away from their philosophy of, right, we're a football-based team, possession-based team, we're going to go out there and we're going to go toe-to-toe. When they played, they lost 3 or 4 in the end, but they was like, right, well, we'll go toe-to-toe on the football front. And I thought, do you know what, fair play. Yeah. You know, so but as individuals, look, many of them that haven't played in the Premier League before, just go enjoy it. You know, it's the biggest platform in the world, biggest league in the world.
We've kind of seen that with Wolves, sort of shades of that Reading side that came up. And do you think that's the best tack to
chance for Chelsea?
Yeah, that is the best thing. The best thing, you know. Listen, obviously, you've got to know that going to these places is going to be tough, and then when there are chances, you have to take them because they are going to be limited. But don't go there and just sort of go 2 banks of 4, 1-1, and
which
just
is what Palace are doing against City.
Exactly. I mean, listen,
and
it's easier said than done, because sometimes you can. I mean, I remember when we was at Fulham, we went to Old Trafford and we sneaked a draw, and the stats in that game was outrageous. For
Manchester United, heavy
Man United had
like
89,
wasn't it?
Yeah, 2-2, 89 crosses. Honestly, 79%.
I'd love to see Sidwell's tracking back records.
Honestly, we was literally just camped in, but we got a 2-2 draw. Yeah. So. It can work, but it's not enjoyable. You come in, you go...
And as Chris said as well, that season you had with Reading, when you count, very successful season, wasn't it?
A lot of people don't remember that. Obviously, we've done the 106 promotion at the Championship, and then finished 7th or 8th, I think 8th in the Premier League in a debut season. Just missed out in Europe, which is like phenomenal.
Yeah,
really
incredible, really.
Leroy Leiter, Dave Kitson, Murty, big names.
Seoul.
Yeah.
Hanneman in goal, Hanneman and Sticks.
Hanneman in goal, Glenn Little, Nicky Shorey,
Nicky Shorey.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of that season that we actually got promoted, we thought we was banging trouble because we lost a few players, and then we signed Shane Long, Kevin Dorr.
For nothing.
For nothing. And we're like, who are these? And obviously look how they've gone on to do. So
when players like that come in who you don't know a lot about, is that the reaction from players? It's like, well, who's this guy? Or...
I mean, that pre-season, literally, we lost a few key figures. Andrew Hughes left, A.D. Williams, Nicky Forster, people like and then players like Kevin Doyle come in, Shane Long, you've never heard of, and you're like, is this sort of the way the club's going? And then before you know it, they're banging goals in. Like Shane Long was meant to go on loan, but he couldn't go on loan because he kept scoring goals. So, and then the train just kept going and going and going. Kitson was banging goals in. Everyone. I think that year we got promoted. Every outfield player scored in that season.
You grabbed 10, didn't you?
Grabbed 10.
That's your best goal from that promotion winning season. Or just one you look back on the fondest?
I've got one, Steve.
Go on.
Isn't there one where there's a 1-2 on the box and you work your way in and then curl it round?
Yeah, the little slotter.
Stayed in my mind,
the little slotter. That was the.
What was more satisfying, an absolute thunder or a finesse?
Yeah, no, the finesse one. That was one of my favourite ones. That one.
And mine.
I think he said that because it was against Villa. It was against Villa.
That was it.
I didn't actually know that.
It was. I didn't actually know that.
Made my day.
Will, on that note, what's going on in your games?
Yeah.
Just remind us of the scores in your 4 games for those that are joining us on the stream right now.
So Bournemouth are beating Brighton 1-0. Huddersfield are losing at home to Southampton. Nathan Redmond with the goal there. And it's Newcastle 0, Fulham 0 and West Ham 0, Watford 0. But yeah, West Ham coming into it a lot more. I say that though, Watford on the counter-attack, but it's been all West Ham.
West Ham won 4 on the trot, haven't they? West Ham have won 4 on the trot.
4 on the trot have won, yeah.
5 in a row must be some sort of Premier League record for them. They've actually, they've finally gelled, haven't they? Finally got their act together under Pellegrini. And
it's their best winning run in Premier League. If they win today, it will equal their best ever winning run in the Premier League. 5 games, last set in 2006.
Well then,
right.
And credit to him as well, because he did say when they obviously had that bad start, he did say, look, keep calm, it will come, and proof's been there.
Will, we haven't spoken much about the Newcastle-Fulham game, which is a huge game at the foot of the table. I've noticed Steve's eyes, you're glancing at that one as well. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, the only chance came from a direct free kick. Lascelles at the back post, heading it back across. It was cleared off the line by one of the Fulham defenders, but apart from that, there's been nothing of note at all, which is a shame, because I thought there'd be a lot of goals in that game, considering Fulham's woeful defensive record.
Yeah, let's talk Fulham quickly. Last time you were on the show was early on in the start of the season.
Yeah.
Since then, big changes at Fulham. Were you surprised with what happened with the managerial?
No,
change?
I wasn't. It needed to happen. I mean, I said there, I take my hat off to him because he's gone with the same philosophy and said this is how we're going to play. Yeah. But they're just so naive in the games. They're just like committing numbers forward and, leaving the back door open as well. So Ranieri's come in. They've got good players there. Mitrovic up top. Tom Kearney. Yeah. Loves to get on the ball. He's got a great left foot. Seri's been fantastic for him. So I think.
But it's interesting you say going forward, up top. The problems are at the back, and they haven't kept a clean sheet in any game this season. Worst defensive record in the Premier League.
Penalty!
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Steve.
Sorry, Steve.
Breaking news as well. Before the penalty, Wigan 1, Birmingham 0. Sorry, no, it's the other way round. Wigan 0.
Merry Christmas, one and all.
I got him. Right, penalty, talk us to it.
Yeah, no.
Goal! There's a goal, there's so much going on. Goal for Man City. It looks like Ilkay Gundogan with the goal. 1-0 up against Crystal Palace. It has been all Man City, 78% possession in the first 15 minutes, and now they have scored after 26 minutes. Manchester City 1, Crystal Palace 0. We're just having a look at the replay now. Whilst we look at the replay, Will, what happened in your game quickly? Penalty?
Yeah, I think it was Pereira who worked his way into the box. He was brought down by Declan Rice, who for some reason has stayed down longer, or no, Valbuena. And it's a penalty to Watford. Troy Deeney's picked up the ball, and it looks like he's going to take it.
And we just show the replay. Fabian Delph whipping the ball in straight to Ilkay Gundogan, right on his head. Cannot miss from there. 6 yards out, it is in the back of the net. Huge job now for Crystal Palace to do. It's been all Man City.
All Valbuena, sorry.
Balbuena is still down in the West Ham Watford game, Will.
Yeah, Balbuena made the tackle, gave away the penalty, and for some reason he stayed down. I don't know if it's because of pure embarrassment, but...
was it a pen? Definite pen for you?
Yeah, definitely. He's took the ball from behind. He's not... Yeah, it's absolutely... Yeah. I've made better challenges than that, and I'm shocking at football. A penalty to Watford.
He's still down, yeah.
He's milking it a bit, Smithy, let's be honest. Get him off. We've got enough sort of carts to get people off like this, so just delaying everyone's afternoon, really.
Yeah. He's been playing well as well, Balbuena. They've actually started to look... I mean, the run has coincided with looking defensively, acceptable again, hasn't it? But, glaring mistake there. Troy Deeney, is he going to wrap this one away?
I reckon bottom left, just...
Odds on.
Like that.
That little wheel away he does.
Yeah.
It'll be...
and he's a Birmingham City fan, so let's just hope he does score.
Right, we'll stay with you then. Talk us through this pen. It looks like we're finally going to...
Oh, he's gone off behind the goal as well.
He's gone off behind the goal. Interesting tactic.
What's he doing? Just get on with it.
Fabianski. A lot of West Ham fans this season have been singing Fabianski's praises, actually. He had a very good season this season. Jack Mate was on the show and he was talking very highly of him.
Cheap
who is stepping up? Is it Troy Deeney to take the pen, Will?
It is Troy Deeney, man of the Midlands, but will he be the man of the moment as he steps up to try and put Watford 1-0
Yes,
up?
he'll score.
Not scored in his last 10 appearances. Troy Deeney badly needs a Premier League goal. He kisses the ball.
Did you have any penalty rituals, Steve?
No, I put them all mine over the bar. White.
That was the ritual.
I missed my first view and that was it.
Stay away from it. Right, Troy Deeney stepping up. No mind games from Fabianski here. Probably more from Balbuena, who's stood behind the goal. But more
It's a long time. Will this play on his mind?
Be playing on mine. He steps up and he scores!
Oh, lovely pen.
Bit of an off-cutter that was, didn't
Yeah,
it?
it was, wasn't it? Interesting
Yeah.
technique on that.
He's gone into the side netting, which you know it's always a good penalty, and he's nearly done a cruise ship there celebrating. But it's 1-0 to Watford at the Olympic Stadium.
The penalty was better than the knee slide celebration, shall we say?
You've got to be careful.
It's an angry celebration, isn't it? Yeah.
Looks like you may be getting a bit of stick from the
To be
crowd.
fair, he is a big man, isn't he? Oh, Troy.
He's an angry man.
But
Like,
you wouldn't annoy him, would you?
He loves that, though, doesn't he?
That's
That just
on
I think he likes
thrives
that,
off that, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
And he's having words with Zavaleta there. What's going on here, Will? They're complaining about the celebration,
I
do you
think they're
think?
just chatting over Christmas plans. Are you coming to mine for Christmas dinner? Are you a vegan? Are you having turkey? But apart from that, looks all civil.
Good. Thank you for that, Will.
No worries.
Man City won, of course, 1-0 up, and they've got another corner as well. They've had another chance since they've last scored. Gundogan putting them one up thanks to a cross from Fabian Delph after the 26th minute, and they have another corner. Whipped in. And it is saved, but it is all Man City in that game. Steve, we haven't spoken much about our feature game. Chelsea 0, Leicester 0.
No.
What's been happening late? Chelsea, it's the better side, and no real clear-cut chances, have there?
Yeah, it's been pretty even, to be fair. Good possession from both teams. I mean, they're interesting to see Leicester really are playing out from the back as well.
Are they?
Normally, yeah, look, you see there straight away. Ball goes out. Chilwell's been fantastic this
Chilwell's
season as
brilliant.
well.
Good player.
A lot of the play's been coming down that left-hand side, but they're playing out really comfortably as well.
If I was an Arsenal, I'd be
Yeah, I
going
was
into Chilwell.
just about to say.
He just lost the ball, just as we were all raving about him.
Commentators curse.
Commentators curse.
He can definitely play at a high level. He's
Good player.
been,
His performances have
such
been
a
brilliant.
well-rounded
And even for
fullback.
England, when he played for England, was it against Spain as well? He was,
Yeah.
In the Fulham game.
Made his debut at
Wax in the boat.
Yes.
Superman
Yeah.
punch.
Dave, let's go to you. Social media
Social corner, yes. A question from CH Vlogs. A lot of Z's in that.
Yeah.
He said, who win the league, City or Liverpool? My opinion, I think City have too much, and they also have the experience because they've done it before. But I think Liverpool will take them all the way.
Yeah, we started talking about this at the top of the show. Steve, you said real contenders, Liverpool. You think they...
Oh, hello! Off the beans on toast!
Eden Hazard off the bar!
Was that a save?
What a ball through.
Chelsea.
Chelsea starting to exert a bit of control now, building it up on Leicester's sort of edge of Leicester's box, and
let's have another look at that.
a little error there from old Slabhead.
Goes through.
You expect Eden Hazard in the form he's in to tuck that way, don't you?
Gone for power. Normally he just sort of slots them in.
And interestingly, you can now get 11-4 on Eden Hazard to
Get on
score
it.
with our price boost. Next goal scorer, 11-4 with Sky Bet. And don't forget, he's one goal away from becoming
Get
the
in the
10th
price
Chelsea player to reach 100 goals for the club. Been involved in the most Premier League goals all season. Let's get back to the Tata race we were chatting about. Do you think it will go the distance?
I don't think he's going to go the distance. I think it'll get wrapped up before that, but they're going to be pushing. There won't be as big a gap as there was, obviously, last season, but Liverpool, it's definitely at them two, no one else.
Just those two.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Chance for Palace.
Hamill, are you still in the man...
Oh, go on!
Crystal Palace!
Oh, we're slagging off the game plan and then executed it perfectly. Come on, the Palace. Roy Hodgson. In Roy we trust.
That was a great
They're
goal.
Palace, and that is the way they like it. It's in the back of the net. 1-0. It's been all Man City, 78% possession, we said, in the first 15 minutes. Loads of chances. Keeper with a few saves. Every time we look, there's a Man City corner. This must be one of the first chances for Palace, but it is in the back of the net, and for all of the possession and the chances Man City have, it is 1-0. Chris Hamill. Good finish, that, isn't it?
Yeah, look, never saw any of that at Leicester. Controlled, composed finish into the bottom left, and I'm not quite sure. It's from a very acute angle. Yeah, I feel like Ederson maybe should be doing better there.
Should Kyle Walker
positionally speaking
as well?
I mean, it's not often you say that about Ederson, is it? So I'm in two minds now. But Jeffrey Schlupp, their first sniff of goal, and it's been sniffed out by
we were saying earlier. If you get a chance, you have to take it, especially at these big games here.
And they have taken it.
That just means it's going to be 4-1.
So, perfectly on to our question then about the title race. We're talking Man City, Liverpool. How do you see it unfolding, Chris?
I mean, we touched upon a few key topics earlier, didn't we? Wherein I think if Liverpool suffer an injury to Van Dijk, suffer an injury to Mo Salah, then they are less well equipped to deal with that than Manchester City, who haven't even had probably their strongest 11 out as of yet. Pep Guardiola always builds his teams to run for the course of the season, and he's a brilliant problem solver. So we spoke about Højbjerg earlier. I remember him playing Højbjerg as a young central midfielder at left back in a tie against Dortmund in the in the DFB Pokal final. So he's and you can see it now with Delph at left back. He's got this unrivalled way, this genius of sort of fixing these problems, and I think that might just be beyond Jurgen Klopp in terms of the personnel he's got coming in. I mean, Matip and Lovren. Joe Gomez has been playing brilliantly, but he's suffered a little muscle tear, hasn't he, at the start of the season? I mean, he's got Klein at right back, but defensively, I just kind of worry about them, especially if Robertson gets injured. Moreno's a big step down. So yeah, I think as long as Liverpool run them close, I don't want to see them absolutely trounce the league again. Yeah, so. Let's just hope come February, March, it's still a title race.
Yeah, big game in January as well. Man City against Liverpool. We'll be live on the Football Social for that one. Huge game. Will, in your other games, what's going on? We've been talking about a lot of action in the Man City game, and also it's livening up in Chelsea, Leicester. So just remind us what's happening in the other 4 games.
Oh my gosh, what a goal! What a goal! Another goal! What a goal!
Townsend has just scored to make it 2-1.
Wow.
Dave Jackson,
that is naughty.
you're the one that saw it. Talk us through that one.
So the ball's going to come out, and Andros Townsend has just hammered it from outside the area on the volley. It's unbelievable goal. Bam!
Steve, you said it earlier that it's been all Man City, but you have to take your chance when they've got them. Palace have had 2 chances and got 2 goals.
What a goal!
I mean, this is a freak result so far, isn't it? But what a freak goal!
Here's the replay.
Andros Townsend.
Oh my word! Goal of the season. That is the goal of the season so far. Surely. It's on the full volleys here. Oh! Wow! Steve, how good is that?
You could have 2 keepers in there. They're not saving that. He is
And goal of the season. Done. It's done.
Absolute.
Wow.
Just go home.
Look at that move.
Wow.
He has caught that as sweet as a nut.
You're trying to think of something that's sweet. Yeah. And he has got that in his locker, Townsend.
Roy looks happy.
What a goal we have
turned it around, Smithy.
They have turned it around. It's Manchester City 1, Crystal Palace 2. Liverpool fans on the stream. Talk to us, Dave. Liverpool fans, get in touch.
They're losing it. They're getting sweet as a nut, sweet like Tropicana. They're having it, mate. And are they? Let's have a look.
Someone please think of the Aka, though.
What a goal,
There's a lovely comment from ADITYA saying, "Come on, Palace, you'll never walk alone." They're having it. They're having it. Someone else. No, that's swear words.
I mean, it's interesting now to see, because obviously now Man City are in a position where they've not been, obviously, last season. So they've got Liverpool breathing down the necks, putting pressure on. They're in games like this now where they're a goal behind. So, again, not being these sort of types of positions. So test the character now, mentality from
suffered a little bit in the Champions League, though, against the likes of Lyon, didn't they? And they sort of battled well there. I'm still backing City to come back in this. I mean, that's an absolute collector's item from Andros Townsend.
7-2 to win.
You know, if you put together a highlight reel of Andros Townsend, he would look like a Ballon d'Or winner. Like, he only scores absolute pearlers, doesn't he? But I think only just this season, he scored and assisted in the same match for only the 2nd time in his career. So sometimes his output, you know, isn't as high as I'm sure Hodgson would like it to be, but 0 complaints.
And Hodgson loves Townsend. Remember when Hodgson was England manager, regularly featured Andros Townsend in the England side. Chance for Man City whipped in.
He should get that on target, minimum. Stones was it as well. Free head.
So let's just remind you of the goals. So many goals today. Arsenal winning the earlier game 3-1. Goal from Aubameyang with 2. Iwobi in the 91st minute. Ashley Barnes gave Burnley a little bit of hope in the 63rd minute, but Arsenal did win that game 3-1 in the end. Bournemouth are currently 1-up against Brighton. David Brooks. Big fan of David Brooks on the Football Social. Great goal after 21 minutes. It is still 0-0 between Chelsea and Leicester in our feature game, although Chelsea just on the attack now. Huddersfield 0, Southampton 1. Nathan Redmond, another good goal after 15 minutes. And Man City, who led to Ilkay Gundogan after 27 minutes, find themselves 2-1 down. 2 brilliant goals from Jeffrey Schlupp and the goal of the day, possibly the goal of the season from Andros Townsend. Newcastle 0, Fulham 0 currently, and it's West Ham 0, Watford 1. Troy Deeney's first goal in 10 games from the penalty spot. So loads of goals.
Can confirm it's Celtic 0, Dundee 0. You know, it's maybe just for all the
Celtic
SPFL
Dundee
fans
0.
out there.
Oh.
So. I need it, mate. Kilmarnock, absolutely, riding high.
Well
Steve Clarke, what a guy.
What
Yeah, good coach.
Can't draw.
Oh, he was good at West Brom, wasn't he, Steve Clarke?
You know, when we talk about...
Ever come across him in your career?
Worked from Chelsea.
Oh, of course.
Worked from Chelsea.
Steve Clarke,
really good.
First team
really
coach.
good. Yeah, he was really good. Training, took the mould obviously off of Jose when he left, and was brilliant. Brilliant with the first team.
West Ham.
Okay, so what makes like a great first team coach, and why do you think sometimes that these first team coaches can't go on to become great managers? What is that missing quality? It's quite hard to nail down.
No, a lot of them prefer to be a coach rather than a manager. Like I've been doing my badges, and when you go through the courses, they're like, right, do you want to be a coach or do you want to be a manager? And obviously, the modern day manager has to be able to coach in that way. It's not as old school as it was where, the likes of Steve Bruce and Harry Redknapp, they were just out and out managers.
You've told us stories about Martin O'Neill as well, haven't you?
So the modern day coach, manager needs to obviously know tactics and all that, but it's all about skill set, and the biggest skill set is communication skills. You've got to be able to communicate, especially now with the modern day football player, with the egos and the way you got to massage them, because some of them now, they don't like a rollicking. It's all about talking to them in the right way, certain individuals letting some get away with others.
Penalty at Southampton, sorry, Steve. Danny Ings has been brought down, and there could have been one at Fulham as well. But it's a penalty to Southampton. They could go 2-0.
What's a chance for Leicester as well? Look at this strike, we're just in the replay of it. Kept with a great save. Big chance from Leicester. It would have been another absolute screamer.
Absolute
so many
cat.
goals that we've seen from distance, and kept with a
Saturday
great
afternoon,
save.
Smithy.
What a Saturday afternoon. Goals galore. Will, we'll stick with you with a penalty.
Right, there's been a few here. West Ham, look how close that one is. Could have been a penalty to Bono, but got brought down right in the edge of the area, but it's been given as a free kick. Matt Ritchie, absolutely waxing lyrical, thought he should have had a penalty for handball in the Fulham game. Snodgrass into the wall, and there is a penalty at Huddersfield. Danny Ings to set up. I hope he scores, because I've got him in my fantasy football team.
We expect Danny Ings to score this.
Yes.
He's on great form at the minute.
He is.
This is all about the accumulator as well, Smithy.
2 goals against Arsenal last week.
He's been carrying Southampton for the last 3 months. His attacking output has been great. He's a really good little player. I like him.
Here we go, Will. We'll stick with you for the pen.
Danny Ings, the whistle has been blown. Steps up, stutters, and scores! 2-0. Gives it the Christ Redeemer, says, look at me, I've just scored a penalty. It's 2-0 to Southampton, and they are on their way for 3 points, back-to-back wins.
Huddersfield doing a great job.
Christ the Redeemer, do you think, that actually came across Danny Ings' thought process?
Exactly, big fan of Rio de Janeiro.
Is a season.
Travels well, knows his. Look at the man. Look, how do you pronounce the...
Cultured man.
Huddersfield are struggling, aren't they?
Huddersfield are struggling.
Games like that home.
No Huddersfield striker has scored a goal this season. And
they're not going to win games,
and they've scored just 3 Premier League goals from open play. They're
hello! Chicken it though!
Big chance for West Ham as well. So, Huddersfield have got a lot to do. And also, worth pointing out, Huddersfield, lowest scorers in English football with 10 goals. They're currently 2-0 down, so a lot has to change for them if they are to get anything from that game. And they have the worst home record in the Premier League, Dave. I'm still talking. What did you want?
When I went to see Arsenal Huddersfield the other week, right, they were time wasting from the 10th minute. Really? It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Hello? Chelsea?
Chelsea chance.
God, it's all going off.
Yes, a lot needs to change for Huddersfield. Huddersfield fans, if you're watching,
I just
any
think
hope
I think
at all for you,
it's beyond them surviving. Like, at least when Southampton were in that, quagmire of despair, Smithy.
Lovely.
Family Guy character, isn't it?
At least that's also true. At least they had Danny Ings, averaging over three shots a game. At least they had an out, like Steve Mounier. I mean, who else plays up front?
Oh, what a save!
The big man that looks like a bouncer. De Poitre. Thank you for helping me out there. De Poitre, I don't think either of them are going to get above 5 goals.
Yeah, De Poitre not scored in his last 18 appearances. Mounier, of course, had that 3-match ban. Not scored in his last 17 appearances, as we've said. Worst home record in the Premier League. No Huddersfield striker scoring. Scored just 3 Premier League goals from open play. Lowest scorers in English football with 10 goals. They're currently 2-0 down. And it's not looking good for Huddersfield at all.
Keep forgetting what game I'm supposed to be watching.
Sorry, Smithy, big chance for Brighton. Lewis dunk rising like a freshwater salmon, but it was an unbelievable save by Begovic. Tips it round the post, and it remains Bournemouth 1.
Steve, can we get a thought? And you're enjoying Will's puns, aren't you, today?
You're brilliant.
I'm just reading them all off these.
Hello.
Take it!
Yeah, we'll go back to the main game. It's still Chelsea 0, Leicester, but there's been some good... good
Chelsea
as we approach the half-time stage.
Chelsea are absolutely battering Leicester.
Yeah, Leicester had a big chance, though. Kepa made a good save, but since then it has been all Chelsea.
It'd be a great time if they could score
Right,
before half-time.
It's all Leicester's, all in Puel's thinking. He's going to launch a stinging counter any moment now. Come on, the Foxes.
I can't tell how deflating it is as a player with all the work that you put in at the first half, and then if you concede just before half-time, it's just... And then again... The manager and the coach's team talk goes straight out the window because obviously it's got to be completely changed around.
Yeah. So still 0-0 in our main game. Chelsea 0, Leicester 0. Chelsea are on the attack. The ball's been cleared. In our other game, incredibly, it's Man City 1, Crystal Palace 2. And interestingly, the last time Crystal Palace beat Man City was 28 years ago today. Wow.
Ominous. February.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
So Zaha there, is that for a dive maybe, or is it a tackle?
What happened here? Steve, talk us through what happened here.
He's booked Zaha. I don't know what he's done.
Zaha looks frustrated.
Sorry, I was thinking that's a bit soft. He hasn't really touched him there, has he? But you can see the retaliation.
Zaha gets very frustrated, doesn't he? He feels like he's singled out with fouls, and the stats do back it up. Since the start of 16-17, there's been 48 cards have been shown on fouls on Wilfried Zaha, which is more than any other Premier League player in that time.
Yeah, it's just he's a brilliant dribbler, isn't he? That's going to happen.
He has got a point when he says that he sometimes does get targeted. It looks like from his reaction there that was frustration.
You can see that as well. I think that one of the worst things he could have done really was come out and said it, because after that, it's
a really good point,
isn't it?
People know it affects him.
Deeney! Oh, what a tackle!
I mean, he is an elite dribbler, but he's also in the same company as Neymar, Messi. Weirdly enough, Adama Traore completes a bunch of dribbles every game, and those guys, you just got to accept it as part and parcel of their game, their skill set.
Because of the way they play.
I mean, I'm sure a lot of them aren't intended.
No.
Are they?
No. Well, it's very similar to like Jack Wilshere, wasn't it? When he obviously used to hold onto the ball so much, and he started getting niggles and fouls and stuff.
Injuries,
the half-time whistle has gone in our feature game. It is Chelsea 0, Leicester 0. There you can see N'Golo Kante playing against his former club. It has been predominantly Chelsea, but Leicester have had a few chances as well. Claude Puel will be quite happy with the scoreline. Chelsea needed to win that one, really, with the Arsenal result earlier. And, of course,
on that
playing
bloody
tomorrow against Everton, that one live on Sky at Goodison Park. So lots of Chelsea to do. Steve, do you think Sarri will look to change it early on? Obviously, we spoke earlier about the fact that they haven't got an out-and-out striker starting the game. Hasn't in that false nine. Will he look to change the system because it's not quite working?
Possibly, I think maybe bring Ross Barkley on, just to add a little bit of guile, maybe, just he can obviously someone that can create a chance, or obviously he's been on good scoring form himself, so he just needs someone else in there just to change it up. But they've got to be so careful with Leicester, because we all know with Leicester it just takes one ball, one long ball, Vardy's in, so...
Sniffing
and the half-time whistle's gone at the Vitality Stadium as well. Bournemouth lead against Brighton 1-0 thanks to David Brooks, the only goal of the game after 21 minutes. Half-time whistles keep coming. Is Huddersfield 0, Southampton 2. Great first half for Ralph Hasenhüttl's men. Nathan Redmond after 15 minutes, and Danny Ings continuing his great form from the penalty spot on the 42nd minute. And we've just got shots of some Huddersfield fans.
And he's brought his bloody drum.
Their first half, it sums up their season. Not a lot going right for Huddersfield as they trail 2-0 at half-time. Fans looking very unhappy there.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of injuries as well, haven't they, now?
Not a lot's going right for Huddersfield, is it?
No.
Down at the Kirklees.
Still playing. Another few whistles have gone as well.
Look at the tempestuous
whistle
weather.
has gone. At the Etihad, Man City 1, Crystal Palace 2. It was all Man City, 78 possession in the first 20 minutes. Ilkay Gundogan, after 27 minutes, scored the only goal. at that point. But Palace with 2 great goals. Jeffrey Stupp after 33 and Andros Townsend just 2 minutes later with an unbelievable strike. Absolute worldie. Tekker's top bin. Reverse swaz, you name it, had everything on it.
Big fan of the F2.
They find themselves 2-1 up. Wilfried Zaha, there he is. Looked frustrated. He gets fouled.
He took his boot off.
Worrying signs for Crystal Palace fans there. It looks like he's got a slight knock and he's injured. So it'll be interesting to see, Will, if he carries on in the second half. And that is a worrying sign because they are very heavily reliant on Wilfried Zaha, as we know. Half-time whistle at the London Stadium as well. Very happy Troy Deeney. First goal in 10 games for him. It was from the penalty. No doubt about the penalty. Clear cut. West Ham 0, Watford 1. Troy Deeney sent Fabianski the wrong way. And that one is 1-0 at the halfway stage.
That's a bad result for West Ham. At home, come on.
Well, we got the draw. Draw on the Acca.
Have we?
Yeah, we got draw on the Acca.
It could be on then. You know,
Man City.
Yeah, we will see. Have a look in the accumulator shortly. It's also half-time at St James's Park. Newcastle 0, Fulham 0.
We've already established that you've had a lot of sides, Steve, that have played in the Premier League. But what atmosphere did you enjoy the most? What stadium did you enjoy playing at the most?
What stadium did I enjoy playing at the most? I hated going to Newcastle.
Really?
Yeah, I hated it. I don't think I've actually won at Newcastle.
Did that record just start to play on your mind?
Yeah, a little bit. Two reasons for Newcastle. One is the pitch. Don't know if you've noticed, but the slope on the pitch at Newcastle is ridiculous.
How do they get away with that?
So when the game comes back on, you have to look from left to right. If you look at the far stand, it's basically in line with the grass. When it gets down to this end, the balls obviously go literally go down.
Get travel sick playing on that.
It does. You have to have a look at it next time. Yeah. And it was a tough place to go. If you started well, the fans would turn because they're so passionate up there. The atmosphere when it was rocking there, it was good. Love going to Old Trafford, you know, places like that. Disappointed with Anfield.
Yeah?
Disappointed with Anfield, yeah. I think it was the games that I played there with obviously I went there with Reading and Fulham and Villa. We won there at Villa. So I don't think it's games that the fans sort of get up for. Whereas, you know, the United or the Champions League, it's a different story. So
I think they've rediscovered that atmosphere somewhat recently, especially with those kind of testy Champions League games.
Yeah.
But there was a period, sort of in the, I don't know, mid to late noughties, where I had quite a few friends who were going to the Liverpool games, and they were saying a lot of it was tourist, a lot of it was corporate now. It's lost that kind of special atmosphere. But
Palace is brilliant. Got to say, Sellers Park. Wow. Yeah. The little firmage in the
A lot of people say that about away fans say about Huddersfield as well this season. Johnson Stadium is rocking.
Yeah,
the whole stand, don't you?
And they're taking it's standing throughout a lot. Well, a lot of the fans stand, even though it's obviously seated. But the atmosphere they generate is actually very good. Yeah. Goodison's another one. I don't know if you found that.
Old school one. Brilliant. Yeah. I'm not just saying it, but I'm really looking forward to Spurs going to their new stadium. It looks amazing.
It looks amazing.
It looks really good.
Yeah, we'd like to get in there at some point soon. Dave, let's go to Social Corner. We're at half-time stage. Goals galore. I've got to say as well, probably the best selection of goals we've seen on Saturday. Some amazing goals.
Street box.
What are people talking about on the stream?
People just there's a lot of Liverpool fans very, very happy. They are extremely excited at the prospect of City potentially dropping points. There's been a lot of love for everyone on the sofas as well.
Any more questions for Steve?
Let me try and dig one out. Just come back to me in a second. I'll try and dig one out for Steve.
Will, from your games as well, you've been thoroughly enjoying the armchair roll today.
He's been in great form.
What games have...
to be honest, I thought I'd already been treated. My mum's bought me these Doc Martens for Christmas. I thought that was the best present I was going to get, but these 3 o'clocks have been fantastic. Some absolute screamers. I didn't have the Townsend goal, but I caught it. And I've just seen a replay of Balbuena there, which I didn't think we needed to see again. But, Bournemouth dominating in that game. Southampton 2-0 up, absolutely huge result for them. Great to see that they're progressing. And will West Ham come back into it?
We haven't spoken about as a collective? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer taking over at Manchester United. So what does everyone make of that? Steve, you as an ex-pro first, how would you, in the dressing room, respond to what I suppose, one, losing your manager, this omnipotent president over the club, and then a former legend coming in?
I can see what they're doing.
You can see a positive upturn?
I can see what they're doing.
The calibre.
Yeah, I know. It's literally just getting at the Man United DNA. You know, that's what it is. They seriously need to sort their own house out. You know, it is all over the top. All over the top.
Chopping board all over the top.
Literally,
from top to bottom.
It is literally because, you know, the whole alignment, you know, from the board to the manager, down to the dressing room, it's just all over the place, and he's just so unlike Man United. So they brought him in there, steady the ship. It's a strange one with obviously January because
half the season left to play, still in Europe. Apparently, they're going to sanction £50 million worth of spend in January.
So he's going to have a say on who's going to be buying, but he might not even be there in the season.
I get that. The people's biggest problem with Mourinho was that he was actively making the players worse, right? And that was unforgivable. So leaving Pogba out of the Liverpool game or not thinking he could add anything to that game and conceding 36 shots against Liverpool, let's face it, it could have been 5-6-0. So I get it from that perspective, but I don't get the huge positivity and buoyancy around Solskjaer. No. So... I mean, he's a competent manager, won a couple of league titles in Norway, but the Norwegian league has the same coefficient as the Kazakhstani league, so not quite sure about his credentials when it comes to that.
Well, all the pressure on the players now, isn't it?
Yeah,
the players now,
no excuses now.
Exactly. So
and the United
behind that.
The United fans will take Solskjaer's side, I imagine, 100%. For the next 6 months.
Yeah.
It's almost, for me, do you think it's like they've written off the season in a way because they've brought in Solskjaer as... I mean, even Solskjaer in his press conference when asked about it, it was like, I'm only here for 3-4 months.
He's also said he'd love it on a full-time basis.
He'd like to stay if they do well, but I think he's got to do an incredible job to be given the job full-time.
I just think it's a real left-field, obviously, appointment, and it just come out of the blue.
Yeah.
I think the Liverpool game, after that, they said, like, Jose was expecting to go in on the Monday or Tuesday when he did get sacked. And, Solskjaer wasn't expecting the call. Mulder wasn't expecting the call. It was just all done so quickly, right? Who can we get in?
Brought Phelan back as well. I think he was at Central Coast Mariners in Australia.
It's just done so off the cuff and
sunning
quickly.
It up, yeah.
I don't think they've written like what you said. They're in Champions League. You know, they've got to try and get into the top.
But maybe it's more of a sort of a testing period where the aim seems to be to get the squad and the goodwill factor back to United.
Yeah. I feel like this was the board picking the players over the manager, not necessarily saying that Solskjaer is going to be able to secure better results than Jose Mourinho. Is saying that Pogba, Martial in particular, trying to negotiate a new contract with. You do have a future at this club. Like, we don't want to sell you. And if they can convince those players that someone like Pochettino or if Pochettino's calibre is coming in, then I'm sure they'll be more willing to stay. But we've had a chat about this before, Smithy. Yeah, go on. So do you think, has your stance changed on Pochettino going to Manchester United? Do you think it's getting more inevitable? Do you know more likely even?
Do you know what? It's a really tough one because... obviously, I'm not for a second going to sit here and pretend that Spurs are a bigger club historically. Of course, they're not. Man United are a bigger club than Spurs historically. Stadium, the fan base, the trophies they've won, of course they are. The only opinion I had of it is that I just feel like Pochettino's got more to lose going to Man United than if he stayed at Spurs, because we've seen some very successful managers in recent years since Sir Alex Ferguson go to Man United, only been given a year, 2 or 3, and then they've gone. And it's... just from being in and around the club, I cannot tell you how loved Pochettino is at Spurs. With all the young calibre of English players he's got, the new stadium, how well Spurs are doing. And also, this moment in time, Spurs are a better club in terms of performances and where the league table is than Manchester United.
Playing personnel.
I just feel like, and I know that they've got all the history, but Poch could write his own history at Tottenham. And I just think... I don't know.
Do you know what I thought was quite damning? That they're trying to bring Paul Mitchell in as their sporting director, who Poch worked with at Spurs and brought him from Southampton. It's almost like, look, we're building the back room around you, Poch.
Put the band back together.
Yeah, exactly. That must have been a bit of a sucker punch when you heard that.
Yeah, 10 to 11 on Poch, his favourite.
Well, Sky Bet is that?
Man United.
Was that bloody boost or what?
Sky Bet.
Yeah, that.
But it seems to he just seems to have a real special connection, doesn't he? To his players at Spurs, and he's built that up, and the new stadium. It just seems as though I don't think it's a clear-cut sort of...
Maybe the right man, the wrong time sort of thing.
You're going to say you don't think it's as easy a decision it was 5 years ago?
No. I know Man United is Man United. When they come, it's huge. But Spurs are going in some direction at the moment.
Yeah. You know, it's like when you start a Football Manager save, and then you go, well, I'm doing this for the duration of the save. I'm staying with one club. If Pochettino stays there, it could be the Mauricio Pochettino Stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay there all the way.
There you go.
Everything can be boiled down to Football Manager.
Said. Yeah. Do you think he'll go, Chris?
Do I think he'll go? I was...
Really tough one, isn't it?
I was more kind of in line with your opinion 2 or 3 weeks ago, in that he's got this squad, like Steve said, that have kind of bought into the cult of Mauricio Pochettino. They love him. he deserves more financial backing, but I guess at the moment he's understanding of Levy's position, and they're moving to the new stadium, so on and so forth. But I do think this may excel it. This whole like bringing in Paul Mitchell, the fact they are taking 6 months to make an informed decision, Man United, rather than kind of have as opposed to a knee-jerk reaction. Yeah. I do feel like they're going to be not tapping him up because that's illegal, but buttering him up for the next 6 months.
I find it interesting. A lot of people say they think
he's the only man for it.
They think
that's
that,
the problem.
Spurs have to win it. Whether or not Spurs win a trophy will affect Pochettino's decision. I don't actually see it like that. I think it'll be more if he's backed in the transfer window with Daniel Levy. I think that is more of a factor as to whether or not Pochettino stays.
But the money's not there, is it?
A trophy.
And it's not going to be there for a number of years, I think, with this stadium.
That's what people didn't realise about Wenger. Yeah. And even after the Glazers took over with Ferguson, he had to be very savvy in the transfer market. But I think if he gets knocked out in the last 16 of the Champions League, struggles to finish 4th again, sees a re-emergent Chelsea challenge for that 3rd, 4th position, he's maybe going to think, it might be a bit of a wounded animal. Have I taken Spurs as far as I can? And then the only thing that I think saves you is that Solari might get sacked at Real Madrid because he doesn't look like he's nailing it down at
it's worth talking about that. The merry-go-round, it's not as simple as we think.
That's a cleaner cut, isn't it? Moving to Real Madrid, not sullying his whole legacy at Spurs and just going to Spain.
Zidane was a huge, for Man United fans in the last few months, was a huge option, and obviously at one point it looks like it could be realistic. It's not ruled out as Zidane. Do you think that would be a good appointment?
I think he might have ruled himself out.
Has he actually ruled himself out?
That's what I'd heard, and I mean, I said that even if I was a Manchester United fan, I'd welcome Allegri through the door at Juventus. I mean, last year he was tempted to move on in the midst of another Champions League final. Lost when he got to the semi-finals last year. But obviously they brought in Cristiano Ronaldo to try and kind of reinvigorate his whole Juventus programme. Yeah. But like you said, the merry-go-round is labyrinthine.
But what does that say about Man United at the moment then? If Zidane is probably ruling himself out of that job because he doesn't want to go there.
But Poch is well equipped to fix Man United. I don't think Zidane is.
Dave, just come to you. Any questions from the screen?
Yeah, a question for Steve from Daniel Jones said, who is the best finisher Steve has ever played with?
Oh, the best finisher that I have played with. Wow. Didier Drogba was obviously phenomenal.
You told me the other day a story about Drogba, which was great in the Champions League. Do you mind telling it again?
Yeah, Valencia away. Jose got sacked. We had a bit of going for a bit of a rough time. A few bad results. We played Valencia away in the Mestalla, and we needed to win. And he done this team talk before the game. Basically, got everybody into a circle and just laid it out, to everyone to say, "Listen, I'm going to go out there. I'm leaving everything on the pitch. Blood, sweat, tears." And just basically who's with me. But he was one of the ones where his eyes watering up, literally, and he just sort of pumped, walked out, 1-2-0. He scored 2.
Wow!
And he just
that was him. But you said he walked out by himself, and then everyone was like,
"Yeah, I walked out.
Let's go!"
It was just wow. He looked around saying, "I wouldn't change none of you for the world. I'll go out. I'm going to leave myself on that pitch. Who's coming with me?"
I've got shivers for a second time, Steve.
Great story. On that note, our second halves are just about underway. These are the scenes. At the Etihad, Man City find themselves 2-1 down against Crystal Palace. We will keep an eye on that Zaha injury update as well. He was limping off. We think he's OK to carry on. But as you can see, it's only the Man City players on the pitch. Crystal Palace keeping them waiting, Steve. Don't know if this is part of the tactical.
9
keeping them frustrated.
Yeah,
Here they come. Here come the Palace team.
Which manager did you play under, Steve, that enjoyed that sort of side of the game, the mind games? He's like, no, boys, let's stay in here for another 5 minutes, or let's get out there early.
Alan Pardew was one of them.
Oh, yeah?
Alan Pardew was one. We spoke earlier, didn't we, about Burnley. When Burnley come and play you at your place, they start the mind games before the ball's even been kicked by leaving the dressing room doors open, putting their Burnley flags around outside the entrance and blaring music out, literally down the tunnel. Which I think now teams have got used to, and just you can see that by the way Burnley is playing now. But
what did Pardew do then? What did Pardew do?
Pardew was just exactly like one of them. Keep them waiting. Don't go out second half. We'll go out second half, obviously. But
been here for 25 minutes.
But just letting them wait in the tunnel, things like that. Just literally game sort of management, I suppose, in a way. And them little 1-2%, it does get to, especially the big teams, the big clubs hate things like that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how early Man City were out. Zaha is back on the pitch. We just saw him there with Townsend earlier on, so expect Zaha to carry on in the second half. So Palace fans will be delighted to hear that. Our feature game has restarted, second half. Chelsea with a few chances. David Luiz just went fairly close. Kasper Schmeichel clearing the danger. No changes for either team in the Chelsea versus Leicester game. And a few of our other games, all of our other games, in fact, are underway. Will, anything of note
Brighton,
tell us about?
Brighton pressing very early, but nothing comes of it, and it's still 1-0 to Bournemouth.
OK.
Do you know what I am surprised about? Wes Morgan's still a starting player for Leicester. I think he's one of 3 or 4 over 34 players that starts in the Premier League this season. Like, there's that few of them. Like, when you were, I mean, coming towards the end of your career, Steve.
Yeah.
Were you how early did that process begin where you thought, OK, I'm not sort of feeling like myself here, like I can feel I would have got that ball, like I feel like the game's passing me by, sort of thing. And when it does come,
I felt my best probably when I was about 30. 29, 30, 31, I felt my all-round, that I was playing my best football. And all-round fitness, I felt my best. Then when it starts to get 33, 34, then it's now management in training. A lot of players now.
And you had injuries, didn't you, towards the tail end?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, again, the modern player now, it's all about gearing it all up for a Saturday. It's not about what it was like 10, 20 years ago of training Monday to Friday, hard every day. Now there's a lot of periodisation where train hard, day off, all of the stats now, the heart rate monitors and stuff. When we was at Brighton, we used to do tests in the morning, and them tests would get sent straight through to the medical room. And if you were down on any of your tests, there's a chance that you get pulled out of training. Wow. So that's how far the game's gone now.
Yeah. Wow. It's about self-preservation, but yeah.
Yeah.
Should we have a little football social quiz time?
Get on it!
Crystal Palace are going great guns against Man City 2-1 up, but they are one of 4 clubs who have been relegated from the Premier League on 4 occasions. So it's a joint record, Crystal Palace, relegated from the Premier League on 4 occasions with 4 other clubs. Who are the other 4 clubs to have been relegated
Leicester.
4 times? It's not Derby, it's not Leicester, it's not Burnley.
Birmingham.
It's not Birmingham.
Bolton, Villa.
Not Bolton, not Villa. Let's not just shout names.
They're all acceptable candidates.
No, none of those.
Have gone down 4 times.
Hull City.
Yes.
The West Ham.
There's 4 other teams as well as Crystal Palace that have been relegated from the Premier League on 4 occasions.
So since
Who are the other 4?
Who's gone up and down?
Norwich.
Norwich is 1, Steve.
Smashed it,
Correct.
Steve.
Sheffield United.
Cheddars?
No.
4 times. I thought Leicester would be up
There's
there.
1 I thought you'd get.
Hull City.
No.
Watford.
No. I love how confident you said that as well. Watford. No, not Watford.
Who's in like...
Norwich is 1.
Coventry.
No.
Oh, this is great. I'll live for a moment. So we need 2 more.
Got to rise to the challenge here, Will.
4 times, yeah?
Yes.
That's crazy. Since 1992,
Sunderland.
who's been down 4 times?
Sunderland is 1 of them.
Yeah!
Let's go. We do not let this slip.
So,
Come on.
Newcastle isn't 1. Norwich and Sunderland are 2.
Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough! Yeah!
Come on, let's
Come on,
One other that I thought you'd get first.
One other?
Yeah, one other.
That you thought would get first?
I did.
So it must be...
Popular team, then.
One of Steve's teams?
No.
Oh. One of Steve's...
I have to think of how many... I don't think you played there.
Leicester!
Vardy!
Jamie Vardy!
It is Chelsea 0, Leicester 1!
Get the man a
Maddison and Vardy
WKD!
are going crazy. The away end is going mad. It's a super finish from Jamie Vardy.
JV!
Claps his hand.
Very similar position
Steve.
to the Hazard.
Yes, it was. It's a good finish, this, isn't it?
I think it was Maddison as well that was driving in and just slipped him in, but that was a great
Especially after
finish.
everything he's been talking about this week.
Absolutely
Look how much
Get
they're
them man a
celebrating
bottle
that
of
goal as
Glen's.
well. Steve, we'll stick with you. Talk us through the replay.
Yeah, obviously driving through the bit is Maddison, picks it up just in between the
lovely
defence
little reverse.
and the midfield behind them, drives at them, just slips it into Vardy on his right foot and just takes it first
Nice.
time. What a finish.
Kepa didn't stand
no
a
keeper
chance.
stand, yeah.
And you're right,
Wait
you're
on the
saying
ball there from-
identical area to where Hazard had the chance that came off the crossbar in the first half.
You can see the concentration on him there. He's just literally watching the ball the whole way come across his body and just took it first time. Great finish.
Weight on the ball from Maddison, and he's so dependent. Jamie Vardy needs that supply line.
They link up very well, don't they, James Maddison and
without
Jamie
James
Vardy.
Maddison in the side, it's absolutely non-existent midfield to attack at Leicester.
And that is, big goal for Jamie Vardy.
Good little
Assist
fade
from
as
James
well.
Maddison. And they're went absolutely crazy. They're right in front of the away end at Stamford Bridge, so they find themselves 1-0 up. We still haven't got our fourth team.
Oh, he's at the post! Palace at the post!
Penalty!
Oh, Crystal Palace!
Crystal Palace have got a penalty at the Etihad. And they are 2-1
defying
up.
all expectations.
The last time they beat
gonna
Man
miss
City was
whoever it is.
28 years ago. To this day, they find themselves 2-1 up away from home. It was all Man City in the first half.
Sorry, Smithy, West Ham have just hit the post as well. Coming off, I think it was Antonio with the header coming back as well.
That seems a bit harsh.
But they're 2-1 up, as we say. And a chance to make it 3-1. And Milivojevic has got one of the best penalty-taking records in the Premier League, of course. You'd expect him to step up and take it. Big chance for Crystal Palace and a big moment in the massive moment. Palace. It is Crystal Palace find themselves 3-1 up against Man City. And what a penalty that in. The away end goes absolutely crazy.
This is such a great
Look at the Palace fans. 1-0 down. It was all Man City. And Pep Guardiola, what does he do now, Steve?
Roy Hodgson
Brings on reinforcements. Is Aguero on yet? Is De Bruyne on yet?
I think I saw Aguero.
What a time to be alive.
Surely, Milivojevic, great record from the spot. And this is another fantastic penalty. Absolutely brilliant penalty.
Smithy, can you tell me how many? What's the goal difference between Arsenal and Chelsea? How many do Fulham? How many do Leicester need to win by?
How many do Leicester need to win by for you to? I don't have that information in front of me.
There's only.
I can find it out for you.
There's only 4 points between 7th, I think, and 12th. Leicester, if they win this, they go. Well, I think 1 point maybe behind Manchester United, maybe level on Wolves, and it kind of shows you that there's teams competing in that middle third of the Premier League that are sort of very much on an even keel.
Ooh. Yeah, and I mentioned Milivojevic there, who just scored the goal to make them 3-1 up. He's scored 12 penalties in the Premier League since joining Palace, and he only joined in January 2017. So that is his 13th penalty that he scored. So Crystal Palace has been awarded a lot of penalties.
And he's converting them as well, eh?
Chelsea are 5 goals better off than Arsenal, in answer to your question, Dave Jackson.
5, is it?
Yes.
All right, well, we'll come on in, Vardy.
Let's just have a moment of thought for the Acca.
Yeah,
completely out of the sky.
The accumulator is not going to plan at the minute. David, let's go to you in Social Corner.
I have a question.
I imagine there's a lot of very happy Liverpool fans.
The Liverpool fans are going off the chain. I have another question for Steve. Someone's asked, can Claudio Ranieri save Fulham?
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you can. You can't write them off yet. There's a long way to go. Get through this Christmas period. If they can pick up a few results, then it's so tight.
And your good mate Scott Parker's still there, of course.
Yeah.
Have you spoken to him recently?
I have. Yeah, no, I have. Obviously, he's disappointed. Obviously, with Jukanovic losing his job at the start, but he knows. Listening, I think that was one of Fulham's best signings, really bringing him back. In terms of bringing Scott Parker into the coaching fold, because he was someone that knows the Premier League and knows what it takes. Obviously, he was in the squad when we got relegated at Fulham, so he would have seen the warning signs of dangers, and he can obviously relay that onto the lads.
Yeah. You love Scott Parker, don't you, Smith? You're a little bit of a fanboy about Scott Parker. Is it because of his time at Tottenham? That's not me mugging you off there. He's a brilliant player. But
it's a bit like Peter Crouch at Scott Parker. He's played for so many clubs, including so many London clubs, but you never see Scott Parker get booed, or quite rightly so as well, by the way. There's such a respect to Scott Parker from so many different groups of fans.
And he helped you transition from that soft-centred side to the Harry Redknapp
correct. He played in that team when we had the likes of Modric, Bale, a lot of very good technical players, Van der Vaart, but he was very crucial in doing the sort of ugly side of the game.
What a save!
We'll come to you in a minute, Will. And he's a very good technical player as well, but he did a lot of... I felt like he didn't get a lot of the praise he deserved playing in that Spurs fan. And I went to a Spurs-Chelsea game, interestingly, and as you know, you played in those games, they get quite heated. And it's just interesting that both sets of fans had a lot of respect for Scott Parker, and I just think it just seems like an all-round nice guy.
He left nothing on the pitch. He left absolutely everything out there, and as fans, that's all you can ask for. You know, everyone has the odd bad game, but as long as you're giving everything, and he done that. In the season that West Ham went down, he got Football Writers' Player of the Year and stuff.
He captained England as well for a period of time.
Yeah, he was, you know, and he's a great lad off the pitch as well. Got to say, in the dressing room, fantastic.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
We still haven't got the fourth team, by the way. Been relegated.
Right.
Do you want to read some comments, Hal?
4 other teams as well as Crystal Palace. 5 teams in total.
I think we've got 60 seconds from now to get that fourth team.
Go.
If we don't get it,
Go
you've
on.
got to give it.
Watford.
No, you should get it.
No, come on, we've got to think about it now. Been up and down since the early 90s. Bradford.
No.
4 times.
Who's like a yo-yo? Charlton? No.
Oh, good shout.
We said Sunderland. You've said Sunderland.
We've got Sunderland in the bank already, mate.
If you know, let us know in the comment section which team we are referring to. Please, someone help me out.
Southampton.
No.
We said Wolves.
No.
West Brom.
Yes!
Oh, the Brummy boy gets it.
That is the quiz question done. We won't be doing that for many weeks to come because that dragged on far too long. Dave Jackson, Social Corner, what
Yes,
have you got
the
for us?
Edge 205 say, will Liverpool be champions this season? Let me read some more. River is saying City are gifting Liverpool the title. Dennis Truss is saying, oh my God. The Anchi C is saying, come on you Blues, with a lion emoji. Who else is saying? Sherry and the game is saying, fam, it's like FIFA career moment, Palace win against Man City away from home. Crying emoji. There's a lot of emojis going down.
A lot of emojis.
Someone just shouting West Brom, they've got it, but we've already given it to you, so you're a little
Who said
bit
that?
late
Let's
there,
give them a
mate.
name check. Who got that right?
Joe Burford and Angod Olra.
Well done to them.
But there's some other guesses.
Like the
who've got
roll
it
of
wrong.
the tongue there as well, mate. Very cultured.
Yeah. And I've got a comment here. Zach, I think Jurgen Klopp will stay if they don't win the league or any cups this year.
Oh. Yeah, it's a good question, actually.
How long-
It's similar to the Pochettino debate we had earlier. Jurgen Klopp is a very highly rated coach and manager, but it is worth pointing out that he hasn't actually won a trophy for Liverpool yet. They've been in, I think, 3 finals.
Yeah.
Come very close. Do they need to win a trophy this season for you?
Win the next bench trophy.
Hello.
Yeah, this season, yeah.
I think they do, yeah.
Yeah, but I just think it just breeds success. Once you get your hands on silverware, then it's like, right, you want more. The Townsend's on the attack here for Palace.
Chance for Palace. Townsend outside the box.
Expertly done there, Steve.
But he does.
One eye on a prize. Love that.
He does need to win,
need to win a
especially
trophy.
now with the team that he's assembled, the money that he's spent as well. So
It's clear for all to see that
Great save by Kasper Schmeichel there.
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Liverpool
Look at this one-handed save. Lovely.
Oh, wow.
Brilliant save. There's been some good saves. Well, Kepa made a great save earlier on in this game. Kasper Schmeichel just getting down low to his right-hand side, whips the ball behind. Willian whips the corner in. Prize boost on your screen in our second feature game. Correct score, Man City to win 4-3. Don't forget they currently trail 3-1 at home to Crystal Palace. That was 7-1. You can get 8-1 on Man City, who have been scoring for fun this season. Top goal scorers in the Premier League, of course. That is 8-1 with Sky Bet. Don't forget, you must be 18 plus. Full terms and conditions apply. For more information, go to skybet.com. Will Brazier, a chance in your game. What's going on?
No, it's a goal for Huddersfield. It's literally come out of nowhere. McCarthy.
Big goal!
Oh, well.
You know when I was like nearly falling off my seat, it was because McCarthy had made a point-blank save. Unbelievable reactions, pushed it out for a corner from Zanka, and he's been completely unsighted from a shot from Billing from about 25 yards.
Phil Bill.
Straight down the middle of the goal. Phil Bill's had an absolute worldie. Well, it's a terrible worldie, and it's gone in.
Terrible world.
Chance, they're in the game.
Terrible world.
Yeah. 2-1 to Southampton.
2-1.
He's looked like a bit of a shining light for them this season, as they've been struggling. Billing is product of the youth system, which have now canned, haven't they, Huddersfield?
yeah, I believe so. Yeah, they're in Brentford. If they're not
Sure about that.
the money in.
What do you make of that?
Well, I can
As
see.
someone who works in a youth setup.
I
for a
can
top
see
team.
why, because it's if there's no products that are coming through and they're ploughing millions into it, then it's well, why let's put it into investment somewhere else. But
Double sub. I just missed you that. I think that was Giroud on the touchline with Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Was it on the touchline?
Correct.
Double substitution for Chelsea as they find themselves 1-0 down. And World Screen will come to him shortly as we're just working out who's going off. Willian is one of the players coming off. Did we see who the other player is?
Yeah, it was Kovacic.
Kovacic and Willian off. Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Giroud on. Steve, what do you make of that double sub?
well, they need goals, don't they? So obviously Giroud's going to come on now, try and lead the line, pin Leicester back, and get Hazard in and around him, get the Pedros and get players up close, working off of him.
Loftus-Cheek's a little bit more forward-thinking than Kovacic, isn't he? So I imagine they've got extra attacking presence down the middle and more of a focal point, like we said. Giroud not getting a lot of joy in that.
And he's had a good season, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Tubes was on the stream for our midweek show we did. He absolutely adores Ruben Loftus-Cheek and is just wants him to play and be given the opportunity.
Well, he's not the only one. A lot of the Chelsea fans do. I followed him since his youth team days. I could speak all day about him. I think his presence, his physicality, plays on the front foot, can get goals. Obviously, he's got the hat-trick, didn't he, in Champions League? Give him a chance.
You're in the same sort of situation that he is now, right? Wherein you had world-class players in front of you, but you couldn't kind of resist the siren call of Chelsea. Like you said, supported them as a boy.
Yeah.
What would be your advice? Go out and get minutes, or
he's done it. I mean, he went to Palace, didn't he, and had a brilliant season there. Scored goals, had a taste of exactly what it's like to play Premier League football, meaningful games. So he's had the best of both worlds now. But I've got to say, I love what he's doing because he knows he can make it at Chelsea, and everyone's wanting him to give him the chance. How long can he stay there?
Yeah.
If he's not going to carry on getting a full...
It's interesting as well that after that successful loan spell at Palace, he found himself in the England squad and featured quite prominently. You went to Rush, didn't you, of course, for the semi-final game, and Loftus-Cheek was in and around a lot of the games, wasn't he? And do you think that was because of his successful loan spell?
Yeah.
It's a lot harder to get in the England team if you're not playing games, of course.
He's playing Premier League football week in, week out, and playing well. So, I mean, that's the thing now. He's tasted it. He's going to... I think he's done the right thing in staying at Chelsea, especially for this season, but just because you never know with injuries and stuff like that, the amount of games that's going to be played. And I think next summer, then it'll be...
He's not completely out of the picture, is he? It could be worse. It could be Drinkwater.
That's exactly it.
Sarri has said Drinkwater is not a player that fits my system, whereas he said about Ruben Loftus-Cheek that he wasn't at the start of the season, and now he is. So
and he's brought him on now in a game in a big game where they're behind. So he's obviously in his plans.
You see that at City? Go on. A City game, a ball boy came on the pitch when he shouldn't have done and disrupted the play.
Did he?
Yeah, fantastic. That's the little things that you miss, like that.
you know.
Well, the other four games, again, Fulham, Newcastle, Fulham, which is a massive game at the bottom of the table.
Nothing going on
I don't
in
think
there.
we've spoken about it at all.
Honestly, nothing going on apart from that chance in the first half. It's all Huddersfield in that game. Alex McCarthy's took a knock after having that stinker as well. Looks like he's coming off. And
KDB, guys.
Big sub in the Man City game. Kevin De Bruyne coming on for Fabian Delph. Big substitution.
Chance.
Delph was captain.
Delph was captain.
Wow, fair play.
Yeah, he passes the armband over to Kevin De Bruyne.
Dangerous free kick for Bournemouth as well. Chance
He's got the relay here. He's
Who's captain now?
Sergio, love that.
Sergio Aguero.
Love that,
Sergio Aguero
Sergio.
hands the armband after that. So, yeah, City with it all to do.
The thing is, if any team can do it, it is City, so you can never write them off. Look at the weather up there as well. Rain's tipping.
Yeah, it is absolutely hammering it down.
Do you see, like, the ball boy's getting a lot of love in the comments?
Is he? Go on, let's go see what they're saying.
It's saying the ball kid just cheated in a match. Ha, 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 ha. So
any others, Dave, to stick with you? Let's read some
Also,
out.
Steve Sebastian is saying, everyone, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Steve, as well.
Christmas. Thanks, Steve.
And saying something about Chelsea, no one cares. Sorry,
This is for you, Steve. More awful gifts.
Smithy, you
May's Britain, that is, mate. May's
I haven't
Britain.
opened one. I will open
You and
one.
Steve
Steve,
got
happy
the
Christmas, mate.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Have you got a joke for us, Steve? Go on, give us your joke. Here we go.
The joke is... Sorry, here we go.
Go on.
All in the delivery, Steve.
All in
No
the
pressure.
delivery.
What bee can never be understood?
Great question.
Is it
Sunderland.
West Brom?
West Brom.
Really good. We don't know, Steve.
It's a mumble bee.
Works on so many levels.
Shay Hart has said, Merry Christmas from Liverpool fans. Someone
Christmas,
saying,
Jay.
come on, Chelsea, with an unhappy emoji. There's been a lot of emojis.
A lot of City fans will be able to take a lot of heart from the fact they've averaged 3 goals a game this season. All they have to do is have an average game to get back into this. That's
and
crazy,
instantly,
isn't it?
price boost again with Sky Bet. You can now get 12-1, Will Brazier, on Man City to win
Veins just
4-3. That is 12-1 you can get on Man City to turn this around and win 4-3. Don't forget, you must be 18 plus, full terms and conditions apply. Chance for Leicester to make it 2-0.
It's got his arm dead.
Claiming for handball.
Absolutely, fume boat. Claiming a handball, not given. And he's Leicester on the attack again.
Chowdhury's been very impressive the last 2 games.
Chowdhury, lovely
For a young
pass.
corner.
He's won the corner.
His defensive
chance.
contribution in the last 2 games has been great. He's really come on leaps and bounds.
It's been 2 fantastic games.
Albright puts a lovely ball in, keeper, he spills it, and look at Vardy, that cheeky back heel.
It's off the knee.
Doesn't
Jamie Vardy, cheeky back heel. It
Was the
comes off
follow-up off his
Aspilicueta's
arm? I
knee.
don't
He's
think that
claiming a
matters,
handball.
does
It wasn't a handball.
Aspilicueta doesn't cheat. He's good as gold, isn't he?
Well, yeah. Chris, Danny Ings just gone off at Southampton. Does that show how much work rate he's getting through, probably, as a centre-forward under this new regime?
I'd imagine he's keen to rest him a little bit, although he can't feel too comfortable at 2-1 down.
Is he on? Is he on?
Who did he bring on? Sorry.
I didn't say. I think it's the. Who's the?
The youngster.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, maybe just a bit more energy, a bit more industry up front. But Danny Ings has played a lot of football after being out for a long time, so I imagine that plays a big part.
So nice that he's scoring.
More pressing, like Smithy said, more pressing in this system
Another
as well.
sub in the Man City game. Looks like Riyad Mahrez is coming on. They are going all out for the win. But Crystal Palace on the attack again.
£75 million player, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
The attacking, like
the options they have
now on that pitch when he comes on. Wow.
There's a question for Chris here. Joe Burford wants to know what's the name of the topic for tomorrow's podcast.
Oh, inside information. I'm actually trying to remember. It is our end of season awards ceremony on Sunday Vibes. Extra Time, the podcast. Go and download it. So
Subscribe.
we'll get Sibble on it in a few weeks' time.
Yeah.
So he's
They're
right.
actually
On that note, Steve Sibble is recently to be on the Soccer M podcast, which you can download everywhere, and it's a very good listen. If you do, I say so myself. You enjoyed that, Steve, didn't you?
It was good.
Do you know what I say, Steve?
The offices were great.
The only we've done 2 seasons now, so we've had about 20 players on.
Yeah.
The only footballer that actually booked the room where we did it in. Do you remember we said, I messaged you and you were like, you were in Surrey, we were in Isleworth, and we were like, can we meet halfway? And we were trying to work out where we could do it. So he actually booked a room in London for us to come and film the podcast.
True collaboration.
Nice room.
What a lovely guy.
That is what Christmas is all
Good
about.
Christmas spirit.
It wasn't even Christmas at the time. Yeah, it was in November.
All about the content.
So, in our second
that
game, it is still Man City incredibly 1, Crystal Palace 3. Whatever happens in this game, Liverpool will be top at Christmas. And the last 9 teams that have led at Christmas have gone on to win the Premier League. Only one team of the last 9 haven't, and that was Liverpool.
Jurgen
When
Klopp.
Man City won the league, they're the only team of the last 9 teams to be top at Christmas that haven't gone on to win the league, and they will be top this Christmas. So.
Can you imagine the scenes right now in Jurgen Klopp's living room? I bet he's popped a blood vessel in his eye. Like, I imagine this would be absolutely huge for Liverpool if Palace lost this.
Yeah.
Just mentally, like you said, going into that Christmas, just trashing
in his living room,
just in his wife's face, like, come on. Probably.
Do you find that as a player though? When you see so many managers and players when there is something at stake with another team or it's out of your hands, and it's a regular sort of cliche in football when they say you only care about your own result. But you must keep an eye on on other results.
You do.
Go on then.
Everything. You're so the emotions. You're so wrapped up in it all. I mean, like even like cup draws. When you do a live cup draw, you're thinking, well, what number ball are we? When we're going to come out? We haven't come out yet. And you're like, right, we're out. And it's like, who we got? And you're like, oh.
I love that.
So, I mean, listen. Players are just human beings at the end of the day, and they're fans most of all as well. So we go through exactly the same emotions as everyone else.
Love that. Will, chance in your game, what's been going on?
Absolute sitter for Chicharito, pulling off at the back post, but he's absolutely missed it, and it's still 1-0.
Just remind us of the scores in your 4 games, please, mate.
Yeah, there's been a lot of goals, so it's going to test me very hard. Bournemouth 1, Brighton 0, Huddersfield 1, Southampton 2, Newcastle 0, Fulham 0, West Ham 0, Watford 1.
That'd be a big win for Watford.
Good memory from you there.
West Ham have 4 wins in a row, West Ham. That'd be a big win.
They should have scored
Watford.
there, Smithy. It should have been 1-1, and of course, we've got that on the draw for the ACCA.
Breaking news, Wigan 0, Birmingham 3.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Fantastic.
Goals galore.
The biggest Birmingham fan. And Celtic are 3-0 up against Dundee. So that's a good day for...
Chasing down Kilmarnock at the top of the SPFL. Steve Clarke's Barmy Army. Apparently, it's outrageous pies. Apparently, outrageous pies at Kilmarnock, Smithy.
Really?
So.
Good battle.
Yeah, maybe let's go and,
Chilwell on an absolute run all the length of the pitch here. He's going all the way.
He's an absolute athlete.
And
Look
he
at him.
wins the throw.
And Graham Souness would have no problem with his hairdo, would he, either? That's a good, solid two down the back and sides, swept back on top. Lovely jubbly.
Smithy, you forgot to say Andy Carroll on at West Ham.
Andy Carroll on?
Oh, interesting.
Not made many appearances this year. They've been lacking that centre forward. Antonio's been doing it so far, but not too much effect.
Yeah, so it's still Chelsea trailing our feature game from that goal from Jamie
Christmas
Vardy.
Carroll. Hey!
1-0 to Leicester. And interestingly, Jamie Vardy scored 30. This is incredible, actually. We're talking about Jamie Vardy of recent weeks not having the best run of form. He scored 13 goals in his last 15 Premier League appearances against the Big Six sides.
Yeah.
Which is incredible against the Big Six. Great record. Today is his 250th appearance for Leicester. 95 goals in all competitions. And interestingly, he has an 11-1 price boost to score against a great big game player.
I mean, the higher the defensive line, the more he thrives on it, doesn't he?
Exactly.
Because he's not jinky in the box. He's not like Sergio Aguero. He can't carve himself out half a yard when there's 2 defenders on him. But he can gas a man, and that's what he's... So
Will was go! Will Grazier, talk us through that one.
Game, set and match to Southampton. The man who came on for Downey Ings, Obafemi, should have scored about 30 seconds ago, dragged one past the post, but he's made up for it, and it's now 3-1 to Southampton. Looks like back-to-back wins for them.
this could be an outrageous day.
Interesting.
Just thinking about this Chelsea result as well.
Yeah. Massive day.
I should say, like,
At the top of the
Crystal
table.
Palace, they played so well the second half. They're throwing their bodies. They're playing absolutely tremendous at the moment. So well done, Crystal Palace.
You like it.
I like someone who give it all. You know, as you said,
of course,
I feel
wins
like
the
as a
70th
football
minute, though.
fan, all you can do is ask that they give everything. They've left it all on the pitch. If they're not actually good enough, that's fine. I can fully accept that. It's just when you
the
see
work
the
rate.
effort. It's the effort. Yeah.
Let's go to social corner again, Dave.
Yeah, there is someone who said, this was a great comment. What did he say? He goes, Tottenham plus trophies equals laughing emojis. Loads of them. Absolute loads of them.
Okay, yeah.
Also, let's go Leicester.
Dig.
Someone has said, come on Chelsea. Someone said Southwick and Birmingham. Again, more laughing emojis. There's so many emojis in the comments.
Laughing. Just anyone, whoever we sport, laughing emojis.
Dundee are a tricky tie.
Someone
so
just shouting Leeds at his Leeds.
no context whatsoever there. He's off his head.
Yep. And Pep can come to Chelsea any day. I don't know what he's even saying there. So, yeah, and someone just saying Poch is going to Manchester United in the summer.
OK. Good comments. Keep your comments coming. Will, let's go to you in your games.
Yeah, Newcastle...
Anything happening at all at St James's Park?
The only thing that happening is Rafa Benitez slightly rolling the dice, bringing on Kennedy, so slightly more attacking intent from there. But honestly, gilt-edged chances, there have been none.
Well, I mean, Newcastle are having, I think, the second or third least amount of shots per night in the Premier League, and Fulham are conceding the most. So you've got a team that can't defend, unfortunately, against a team that can't attack. So
Oh, what a save!
who'd have thought it's been a boring game? What's the most boring game you played in, Steve? Well, you just did it. You just thought, I want this to end.
What a question!
I want this to end right now. Was it for Villa? It was for Villa, wasn't it? Martin,
You have to come back to me on that. You have to come back to me on that one. I've not had many. There's obviously been a few 0-0s where it's just like...
I've actually got a question for Steve from Alex Fleming, who said, Steve, who was your favourite manager to play under?
Oh, good question.
Favourite manager to play under?
Yeah.
Jose was obviously phenomenal at Chelsea, and that was obviously when he was at his best as well. I've got to say, though, special mention Chrissy Houghton at Brighton.
Yeah.
Really good.
And
really,
the job he's
really
doing
good.
as well. The job Chris Houghton's done is phenomenal.
Yeah, it doesn't get, what we said about Scott Parker, doesn't get the recognition for what he has done and what he's achieved,
wasn't Felix Magath, was it, mate?
It definitely wasn't Felix
Yeah,
Magath. We don't want to go down them stories
Felix
again.
Magath stories, haven't we?
What's he up to now?
We leave that one there.
I said.
Jorginho's come off for Chelsea.
There's a question for Smith here. He said, who would be the perfect signing for Tottenham in January?
Good question. I
Pochettino,
saw we linked with Isco. And I would obviously take that from a club that haven't spent money on any player in the summer. And then we linked with Isco, but then I saw Man City, Arsenal and Chelsea are also linked with him. When we were linked with Zaha, I was obviously very excited, Dave. Do you know why Zaha? Because some people say he's a bit inconsistent, but for me, Spurs have had players like that Pochettino seems to get the best out of, and I just think he would thrive in a system that Pochettino players would get the best out of him. I'm also... Hazard with a chance for Chelsea.
Oh, well
I'm
cleared.
also a huge Anthony Martial fan. When there's talk of people surprised that Pogba isn't playing, I'm more surprised that Anthony Martial hasn't been playing because he's such a player in form, and he scores goals, he creates goals, and I don't think he's utilised in the best possible way under Jose Mourinho, in my opinion. I think when we were linked with him, I'd love to see him at Spurs. Do I think either will come in January? Probably not.
Fair enough.
You know, when Solskjaer...
Paul Pogba, interestingly, starts for Manchester United. That is the evening game. So he is straight in the starting
nice nuance to that, isn't there? With Cardiff against United, obviously. Solskjaer going back to his old stomping ground where he failed in the Championship.
and Lingard all start. So, interesting attacking lineup from Solskjaer.
It's weird when United fans say that we need to get back to attacking traditions, because I get that they obviously had great success under Ferguson, but he was like the ultimate pragmatist, wasn't he? There was like his sides, won ugly a lot of the time and were lauded for it by the pundits on TV, but it wasn't just like pure thoroughbred attacking football. So I think it's a little bit dangerous when they're like, we need to get back to United ways. It feels a little bit outdated for me.
Yeah.
Go! No? Yeah?
Maybe.
No. Offside or... I don't know. I thought that's
Let's ask Will, who's watching the games. I think you look at... Which game are you talking about? The Brighton-Bournemouth?
Newcastle game. I thought It was
just at the top of
top of it. I apologise.
Let's bring it back to the main game because we haven't spoken a great deal recently
Kevin De Bruyne has taken a
about the Chelsea-Leicester game. Obviously, there's a big shock going on at Man City, but this will be a huge result, Steve, for Leicester if they can hold on.
Well, it's all in Leicester's half at the moment. Chelsea are putting on all the pressure. And a bit of rub of the green, a bit of luck.
Oh, God.
Ball whipped in.
Come on, Leicester.
I've got another question for Steve.
Go on.
From Alex Bartnick. He said, who was the player with the best banter that you played with?
The player with the best
It was
banter.
just...
And was the best dressing room, I guess, then, in general.
Best dressing room, I've got to say, was probably Stoke.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Was
good,
it?
Yeah, good school. That.
Is that Crouchy?
Good school. Crouchy.
Glenn Whelan?
Crouchy, Charlie Adam, Phil Bardsley, John Waters, Jack Butland, Marko Arnautovic. You know, there was...
Some big characters.
Shawcross was pretty dry.
There is a goal! You're crazy! Talk about it. I'm not the floor manager brings in the snacks.
Too much going on. Brooks, she's at it again.
Oh, that was an underrated moment.
There we go. And some down here as well, Mark. Talk us through the goal, Will.
I will do when I get the replay, and the replay is now they've built it up from the back, working it down the left-hand side. I think Ryan Fraser's on now.
Oh, is it a post? Off the post for Man City. Here's the replay. Will, talk us through Bournemouth and
Chip ball in, and it's a header from David Brooks.
What a goal.
2-0 to Bournemouth.
It's that man there. No one has been raving about David Brooks more than everyone on this sofa this whole season.
Oh, my God, what a header. That's
a
like
goal.
Benny McCarthy bought in 2004.
No, I'll tell you what it reminds me of. Teddy Sheringham's goal against Greece in the game that Beckham scored the free kick. Everyone remembers the goal Beckham scored, but Teddy Sheringham did the header goal.
Look at his
and
eyes
no one
light
talks
up.
about it
Like Sheringham.
because of Beckham's goal. Do you remember what I mean?
No.
That's an unreal flick.
Teddy Sheringham's flick, the back of the head.
DB.
I've had a bit of a Chris Kamara moment as well. I thought Lewis Dunk went off injured. He actually got a second yellow card, and Brighton are down to 10 men, hence why Bournemouth probably should have scored the second goal.
Brighton are down to 10 men, one of your former clubs.
2 yellow cards for Lewis Dunk.
It is all going on, and meanwhile, Man City just hit the post. They're still 3-1 down. City fans, get involved in this on the stream.
Rocking around the
what
Christmas
needs to
tree,
change?
lads.
What is going on?
Who's bought a dark chocolate Kit Kat?
No.
Shambles, mate.
2 bounties. I'm grateful.
Can you pass? I'm going to have a banana.
Biggest diva on a sofa these days, isn't you?
Dark chocolate Kit Kat?
Well, you know,
Chris Hughton
70%
won't be happy
cocoa,
with that.
mate.
Go on, Steve.
Well, just saying, because obviously Dunkey now, he's going to miss a game. Duffy's already suspended from
Yeah,
the City
good
red
point.
card, so obviously coming to a busy Christmas period now, and them two are mainstays as well in the Brighton lineup.
Yeah.
Steve, I don't want to be cynical. Lewis Dunk just been sent off 3 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Second yellow. It was a very sloppy challenge. Have you ever done it?
No.
No?
No. This is the first Christmas I've had off in 20
Yeah,
years.
that must be
So,
exciting.
it feels weird, you know. Obviously, you can't wait to have a Christmas off, and then now it's actually come and it's getting nearer to Christmas. I want to be playing. I do want to play Boxing Day. There's no better feeling than playing on Boxing Day. Honestly, it's such a good. Yeah, it's a good buzz. It's a good buzz because it's massive. Obviously, every ground's a sellout.
Yeah.
Huge for the fans. It's massive football. I grew up obviously.
The TV audiences are huge on Boxing Day.
It's big. So.
And what if you lose though on Boxing Day? Imagine if you win, you're up here, and then if you lose, does it kind of sully the Christmas
it's
period?
not too bad because you play again on the 28th or like the 29th, so it's like literally bang bang.
When
If
do
you
you
lose
have
both,
your
then
turkey?
it is bang bang.
I still went for it on Christmas Day.
Did you? Yeah,
Honestly, I still went for it. I had a massive roast, still had a few beers and a wine.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Nothing's getting away with my Christmas.
Hopefully, Felix Magath isn't watching the live stream.
He's at home rubbing his knee in cheese.
Chance for Chelsea. Looks like they've got a free kick on the edge of the box. Chelsea badly need a goal in that one. So both the surprising results in both of our feature games at the minute. Just reminded that Chelsea are 1-0 down and Man City 3-1 down at home.
Palace are defending pretty
Palace
confidently.
are actually playing, to be fair, give them their due. Palace are defending very well in this game, limiting Man City to very few chances.
Oh, Damari Gray coming on for Leicester City as well. Which would suggest they're not, quite content with shutting up shop at the moment. Maybe to relieve a little bit of pressure. Very competent ball carrier, isn't it?
Swaggertoe Sarkar said congrats on the 1.5 million subscribers.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
He actually won our fan of the year. So
What, again? Second year?
no, it was earlier this year, wasn't it, Dave?
for
You should know that, mate.
I remember, we sent him...
All Brighton.
Yeah.
All Brighton having a very good game.
Sharky Mark.
Glenn Murray on for Brighton, finally. Took him about 80 minutes, 2-1, 2-0 down. Don't know how much impact he can have on there, but...
And you
Glenn
surprised
Murray.
he wasn't starting, weren't you?
I was, but he's He's much better at home than he is away from home. The gaffer knows that as well. So
Cardiff extra legs away from home, you're thinking?
Yeah, and he gets around as well. I mean, I remember when they signed him. They signed him when he was injured, and then when he come back, apparently in training, he was putting it around on people as well.
Really?
Yeah, putting a few on their backside.
Who was the most fervent, the best trainer?
Best trainer, Frank Lampard.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. Every single day was phenomenal.
Ever to the point where he probably damaged himself? Or?
Yeah, I remember once when he didn't get enough out of a session, got in, put a pair of trainers on, wet jacket, went for like a 5K or 5 mile run, pulled his thigh.
Really?
Yeah. So, but he was just always testing himself. Yeah, he was phenomenal. Yeah. Really good. I'm saying phenomenal a lot, but he was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean,
Watford are in! Deeney for 2! Oh, straight at the keeper!
Should have scored.
You'd expect a striker of that with more quality to put it in the top bins, but he's put it straight into the keeper.
West Ham had any chances in that game, Will? To claw it back? Is it Watford deserving of the lead?
To be fair, Chicharito had a gilt-edged chance and he didn't make the most of it, and then he jinked his way through the box earlier, and it was a great tackle to put it out for a corner.
How's Felipe Anderson been in this game?
He's
been their key player this season, hasn't he? They've got an awful lot of transfers wrong, West Ham.
To be honest, I think they've neutralised him, to be honest, Chris.
Do you know who almost signed for West Ham, Will? This man right here.
Did you?
Yeah, nearly three times.
What?
Yeah.
How come?
If at first you don't succeed?
Yeah. I was desperate for it to happen, actually, on all of them. One club that I'd love to have played for, West Ham.
You said that in the podcast, one club you really wanted to play for, but never did, was West Ham.
Just I love playing Upton Park as well. Especially under the lights was brilliant. 3 times, never went through any of them, so...
No regrets though, Steve, eh?
No regrets.
Live with no regrets.
Yeah, it's be a very big win for Watford. We're into the last 10 minutes on all of the games. Watford currently winning, 1-0. It looks like Jamie Vardy as well has just come off. Didn't see who came on in that game. Iheanacho is on for Jamie Vardy, and I think Maddison's gone off as well, Chris.
Yeah, for Damari
Gray. So Leicester looking to make a few changes, fresh legs on. 10 minutes to go for a famous victory at Stamford Bridge, and they're on the attack again.
Well played.
Nice little footwork there.
I've been impressed with Pereira as well at right-back for Leicester. He's been a really good signing from Porto. He's an absolute athlete. He's up and down like a yo-yo.
Got to say, Leicester have played well, If they come away with a result, they've definitely deserved it.
Yeah, they have played well in this game.
Good performance away from home. And as a positive substitution, a lot of fans give Puel a little bit of stick about being such a conservative manager, but we've seen he's put on someone like Damari Gray there because he's probably not content with... He's aware that he doesn't want to, welcome pressure by bringing on someone more defensive. And I think Leicester are experiencing a little bit of choice
it's worth pointing out as well, this isn't, an onslaught from Chelsea now that one of the... Leicester have had actually chances in this game. We saw a free kick there. It's a very open game, and it's... something tells me there's going to be another goal in this game.
They could have had 2 before half-time. They absolutely battered Leicester for the last 20 minutes.
And they've got another chance here. Giroud, great in the end. He wins the header, as he usually does, and the danger is cleared. Olivier Giroud, instantly 20 Premier League goals he's scored as a sub. He's on as a sub again. Only Jermaine Defoe has scored more from the bench, 24 goals. So interesting to see if Giroud can find the back of the net in that one. Will, let's go to you, your 4 games. Any chances of some late goals, some late drama, some late excitement? Anything else happening late in your world?
Huddersfield piling on the pressure. Obviously, they're 3-1 down, but they're still going for it. And really nice to see Brighton going for it. Although they're 2-0 down with 10 men, Glenn Murray's brought a bit of impotence to the team, and they're really going for it. Huddersfield with a corner, and it's cleared away. But Newcastle, Fulham, 0-0. Both teams need the 3 points, and it's just in the centre circle majority of the game. Nothing going on in that game.
Nothing going on there. So let's just remind you, quick roundup of all of the goals from today. Arsenal early winners. Dave Jackson was very happy with that. 3-1 win against Burnley at the Emirates. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang with 2 and Alex Iwobi with 1. Ashley Barnes for Burnley. Bournemouth are currently leading Brighton 2-0. 2 goals, 2 very good goals from David Brooks as well. Chelsea in our feature game at Stamford Bridge are 1-0 down thanks to that Jamie Vardy goal. Jamie Vardy with a fantastic record against the top 6 sides. He's scored again in the only goal of the game currently at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea just with a chance there, but it just goes wide. Huddersfield 1, Southampton 3. Another massive win, potentially, for Ralph Hasenhüttl's men. Philip Billing with the goal for Huddersfield. Nathan Redmond, Danny Ings from the penalty spot. And Michael Obafemi, should I say, with the goal for Southampton. Huddersfield need a miracle to turn that one around at the John Smith Stadium. Other feature game, incredibly, Man City 1. Took the lead after 27 minutes with Ilkay Gundogan, but Crystal Palace 3-1 up in that game so far. Jeffrey Schlupp, Andros Townsend with one of the goals of the season, and Milivojevic with a penalty as well. Only 4 minutes left in that game. The last time, incidentally, that Crystal Palace beat Man City was 28 years ago today. That is the last time Crystal Palace beat Man City at their ground. Man City, Newcastle 0, Fulham 0. Both teams badly need a goal. And West Ham 0, Watford 1. Troy...
Oh, what a save!
There's been
off
a
the
goal!
bar! Oh, my goodness!
We'll come to you in a minute because there's been a big goal at Man City. It is Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 3, and it looks like Kevin De Bruyne with the goal. We are in for a blockbuster last 5 minutes. Steve, talk us through this one. For Man City, did you see it?
I didn't see it. I was watching the Chelsea goal, but...
it's a cross.
Has it gone in?
Has he meant this?
Cross-country shot.
Way.
No way has he meant this.
Well, I don't know.
Kevin De Bruyne has whipped it in from about 20 yards from the byline. Everyone's left it and it's hit the corner, the stanchion of the goal.
Massive
and
last
gone
five.
into the back of the net. Really unfortunate goal. I mean, the kind of goal, for all of the quality that Man City have got, it's probably the worst kind of goal you can conceive.
This is going to be all backs to the wall now. Palace, they should be getting everyone behind the ball. But we said that before. If there's one team that can get back into it, it is Man City.
KDB's
If
purring now.
anyone can get into the game, it is Man City. Massive 5 minutes in the Premier League title race. Are we going to see an Aguero moment? A big moment in the title race. Liverpool will be top. Whatever happens today, don't forget. But Man City on the attack again. 3 minutes left in that game. There's another chance and it goes just wide. Crystal Palace just needs to steady the ship and calm down. There's action everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's a chance. Will Braden, what's going on in your game?
Point blank save. Cross comes in. Snodgrass heads the ball. Ben Foster makes an amazing save. Antonio, goal gaping, 3 yards out, hits the crossbar with a header, and Watford survive. And it's still 1-0 to them. And it could have been 4-1 to Southampton. They're breaking away. Great.
All Southampton in that game?
Pardon?
All Southampton
All
in that
Southampton,
game?
yeah. The substitution of Obafemi is just breaking through every time. Great pace.
Chance for Chelsea, and it's cleared behind. It looks like it's going to be another Chelsea corner. Kasper Schmeichel went to pick it up, but he was behind the ball. It's another Chelsea corner into the 86th minute in that one. Leicester's only Premier League win, incidentally, at Stamford Bridge was 2-0 in September 2000.
This is all City.
Muzzy Izzet and Stan Collymore with the goals. Leicester have won one of the previous 27 league meetings since October 1965. So that'd be a big win for Leicester, but it is a chance for Chelsea. Big chance for Rudiger. He heads it wide from the corner. So, Chelsea and Man City both behind by just one goal.
Oh, why are you touching that? What a ball from Kevin.
Let's get your thoughts on this chance for Chelsea.
Just a bit too high for him, wasn't it? Great corner that comes in right on the 6-yard box, and Rudiger just tries to just glance it into the far corner.
Kasper Schmeichel goes to punch it, slightly mistimes it. Rudiger gets there first. Fortunately for the Dane, it goes behind for a corner, and Leicester just looking to slow the game down now. Just looking at this Kevin De Bruyne goal again. Are we all in agreement? Doesn't matter because there's been a big goal at the London Stadium. Will
West Ham fans must be ruining all the chances that they've missed. They could have scored about 30 seconds ago, but Watford have signed, sealed and delivered it. It's Delafeu who's put the ball in the back of the net. West Ham 0, Watford 2. What a win for them.
Yeah, big win for Watford. West Ham winning the last 4 Premier League matches. They're on great form, one of the informed teams in the Premier League this month, but they do find themselves 2-0 down with a matter of minutes to go at home. As Will said, they had their chances, they missed them, and they will be ruining those chances. Anything going on in that?
Left there.
Newcastle, Fulham, what's going on there?
0-0. He's having a little juggle with the ball. I don't know what he's thinking. Mitrovic nearly takes it off him, and he's round the keeper. Fulham chance. Sessegnon drags it back. Mitrovic against his old club. Ball! Not given. Referee says play on.
They're in. What have we seen?
How's he?
Steve Sigwell, talk us through what we've just...
Get out of here.
Stamford Bridge game.
I think he might have been offside by the looks. He's not. No, he's not. Him.
Alonso, one-on-one with the keeper, should score.
Is that Kante with the final ball? That's a delightful return ball.
Marcus Alonso is in the box, 5 yards out, does everything right, except by the back of the net. Hits the inside of the post and goes wide in the 88th minute. Big moment in that game. It is all Man City. Man City throwing everyone forward. Kevin De Bruyne, incidentally. Everyone, look, he's on the ball. He's on absolutely everything.
Come on, Palace.
Come on, really wanted to make an impact. Had that long injury spell. Interestingly, not started a Premier League game this season. City have been fine without him, but they do trail 3-2 still at home to Crystal Palace. Whilst there's a quiet moment in that game, we'll just explain what happened in that Mitrovic chance. Big moment in that game.
Well, yeah, the keeper's messing about with it, and then we come back to the action. Ryan Sessegnon's took it round the keeper, pulls it back to Mitrovic, who shoots, and... still not comprehensive from the replays that the hands were like into the body.
I think it was in his
chance for
body.
Chelsea on the byline. They're appealing for a very soft penalty, not given. And
it's literally all Chelsea in this game and all Man City in the other game. They're just trying to get this goal.
You feel like at least one of them is going to score, don't you?
Like the Alamo at the bridge.
It is Man City 2, Crystal
Once more
Palace 3.
from the bridge, dear man.
And Leicester 1-0 up against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Man City 3-2 down
chances everywhere.
at home. Dave, social corner, what are people saying? There must be a lot of excited
They
Liverpool
are,
fans.
honestly, they're like, this is the best Christmas they've ever experienced.
Absolute catnip to the commenters. This absolutely frivolous. Go on then, Leicester, break.
Go on, Sweeney Vardy. Bit pace.
4 minutes at City.
4 minutes of injury time has been announced at the Etihad. Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 3. Are we going to see a late equaliser? Maybe two late goals to give Man City the winner. We do not know. Stick with us. It is all going on. Big moment in the title race, potentially. A lot of very excited Liverpool fans. Massive moment if Man City manage to lose this match at home to Crystal Palace. And Will is very animated. What is going on in one of your games?
Nothing, just an offside when Fulham had a real good chance to break.
Damari Gray's on the attack.
Sums up the game.
Steve, where are you looking?
I know, yeah, I've got my eyes fixed on this Chelsea game. Come on, the Chelsea.
4 minutes at Newcastle Fulham. That's the only game left with me that's got anything between it.
Absolute theatre, this, Steve. Did you ever feel this emotion as a player? Because I think this is pretty unrivaled. I think this is the most, this is up there for me in life.
You just get... When you're playing, you don't get sucked into it.
Oh, really?
As much.
No.
Yeah, you just...
In the zone.
Yeah, you are. It's just literally like another game, but... Especially like when you're going for it at the end. If you're one down like that Chelsea are and you're just going for it, you're just trying to just put everything into it. Whereas the crowd around you, they get you going.
Best last gasp moment.
Ooh. Best last gasp. I think it must be when I was at Villa. We played Everton.
Will's face
it
every
was
time you say
Villa Everton.
Chance for City! Oh! Over the bar! Big moment. Gabriel Jesus with a point-blank header. It was quite a high angle, to be fair. It goes just over the bar. Is that going to be the last chance of the game? The body language from Pep Guardiola. He looks absolutely gutted. That didn't find its way into the back of the net. Once again, is it Kevin De Bruyne with the cross? Kevin De Bruyne has been absolutely everywhere since coming on. It's a fantastic ball. Jesus should hit the target. He doesn't. It goes over the bar. Pep Guardiola looks...
Last gasp drama, yeah. Villa away at Goodison. We won 3-2. Julian Lescott, I think, scored to make it 2-2, and then Ashley Young went down the other end, literally 90 seconds after. Last kick of the game, won 3-2.
Ashley Young, when you had that Ablongahor, Ashley Young, John Carew, forward triumvirate. God, absolute beasts on FIFA anyway.
Pace there was there. Coming from the dressing room. Gaffer, give us 4 days off after that.
It is all over at Stamford Bridge.
Come on, City.
It is a big win for Leicester City. Famous win for Leicester. Claude Puel, absolutely delighted. There is the away end. The scenes in the away end when that goal went in. Jamie Vardy, another goal against the top six. Got a fantastic record against the top six. Needed that goal. And there is the scarf, Mr. Chairman. Great to see Leicester City fans look absolutely delighted. Marcus Alonso with a big chance late on.
Palace.
That many people felt should have been.
Scotty!
And
Oh my God!
1-0. Goal kick. Penalty. We'll come back to that in a minute. It ends 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 0, Leicester 1. Big moment. Kasper Schmeichel looks delighted. Meanwhile, in our other game, Manchester City, Crystal Palace, should I say, thought they had a penalty against Man City. The ref didn't give it. Idiot. Is that going to be a pivotal moment in this game as Man City on the attack as well? Full-time scenes at Bournemouth. These are the scenes. David Brooks, a man that we've been raving about all season, with the 2 goals. Steve, unfortunately, one of your former clubs. Yeah. Bad day for them as they trail 2-0 to Bournemouth. It is all over. David Brooks with both goals. And it looks like Bournemouth deserved that win.
It did, yeah. Again, away form for Brighton.
No.
Oh, Jordan, are you? You should be booked there for diving, Steve.
Well, just say that. If he's gone for a dive, then why is he not been punished.
Yeah, still Man City on the attack. There must be seconds left in this game at the Etihad. Empty seats. So interesting. A lot of Man City fans seem to have left, which is interesting. With only a few seconds left.
Be for Palace.
But this will be a huge result for Palace. Yet to win back-to-back Premier League matches this season, of course.
I think Palace probably deserve a little bit of luck. They've been extremely unfortunate at the start of the season.
Been very unlucky. And Roy Hodgson regularly says that in a lot of his press conferences.
Bring him down.
Kamara's on a mad one for Fulham. Chance to win it. What a tackle! Great tackle. And West Ham 0, Watford 2. Troy Deeney from the penalty spot after 13 minutes, and Gerard Deulofeu on the 87-minute mark. West Ham had their chances at 1-0 down to equalise, missing many big chances. Watford, very clinical. They end West Ham's 4 games. 4 straight wins for them. And it's another big win for Ralph Hasenhüttl. Huddersfield 1, Southampton 3. And there we see the body language, Jurgen Klopp-esque as he hugs Oriol Romeo. 3-1.
Hold on, has Jurgen Klopp got
Danny Ings and Michel Obafemi and Philip Billing with the only goal for Huddersfield. Loads to do for David Wagner.
Is he claiming the hug, Jurgen Klopp? I'm not having it.
Charles City! Yeah!
Oh, the
wow.
camera angle, deceiving.
Yeah, it's one of them where I thought it was going in.
Heart in mouth moments.
We are into the 90th
Charles Smithy to do a
minutes. Manchester City 2, Crystal Palace 3. Was that the last chance of the game for Man City? This would be a very famous win. And it is all finished at St James's Park. The full-time whistle has just gone. It's Newcastle 0, Fulham 0. These are the scenes. And the whistle has gone at the Etihad. Man City 2, Crystal Palace 3. Ilkay Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne for Man City. Jeffrey Schlupp, Andros Townsend with an absolute humdinger. And Luka Milivojevic, another penalty. That man is so...
Roy's going to be on the port and cheese tonight, isn't he? He loves it.
He'll be down
Crystal
Deansgate
Palace at Man City. Steve, we did not see that game coming, that result coming, did we?
What a result for Palace.
The only time I'll say this, but I wish I was in Croydon right now, Steve.
Oh,
so,
it will all be going off in Croydon.
We just have to go down Morley's, wouldn't we, down South London? We're going to get
It is, yeah. I mean, amazing result. Pep Guardiola he was so animated on the touchline, punch in the air. Man City had that late chance with Gabriel Jesus. Kevin De Bruyne looks like they've got them back on track, but it was too little too late. And Roy Hodgson looks absolutely delighted.
It looks a bit cheeky, Roy Hodgson.
It does, cheeky, doesn't it?
A bit cheeky.
We can finally catch up rest. So the full-time whistle gone in all of our games. Will.
What a day.
What a game of football. What a day of football.
Get me a mulled wine, a mince pie, and let's just celebrate the Christmas period all together.
Love it.
Look at these scenes. These are Palace fans. Steve, you mentioned Palace, one of the stadiums you like playing at. This is, of course, away from home, but they travel as well.
Away fans travel really good
as well. They do travel well. They're still in the stadium going absolutely crazy. Look at that.
Look at that. The train journey home from Manchester will be rocking. The carriages will be rocking.
Virgin trains will not know what's hit them.
We have to talk title. Now. We mentioned that Man City still title favourites. Do we Liverpool? Are they favourites now? How does that result change things?
It's going to be swings and roundabouts, isn't it? The whole way through, I think. But the door's open now for Liverpool. If there's a chance to make a little bit of a gap, wow! Just before Christmas as well.
Massive.
And that man there, we cannot talk about this goal highly enough. From the technique on it as well.
Unbelievable.
Shades of John McGinn there for Villa.
Don't bring that up.
If you haven't, you need to check Andros Townsend's goal. It is. There will not be many goals better than that this season. Dave, let's go to social corner.
There's a lot of very, very happy Liverpool fans. LA's is Liverpool. Let's go Palace. Woohoo, the best Christmas ever.
Can you say woohoo again?
Woohoo. There's just been a lot of. I think everyone's just really appreciated the football today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Best Christmas ever. That's my
Football's great, isn't it?
It is.
The emotions that you get from the game of football. It's unbelievable. Look at Will looks exhausted over there.
Oh, I need another coffee, Mark. Unbelievable. What an afternoon. Ralph, how do you say I'm going to message surname?
Hasenhüttl.
Just gone up to the away fans, endearing himself already. 2 wins, giving it to the players, giving it to the fans. That's what you want to see after you've had Mark Hughes for like 9 months. 2 wins on the bounce, look at that.
And instantly, Matt Letizia made a really, really interesting point about how Ralph Hasenhüttl has only been there a very short space of time. It says not only has he changed what he's done on the pitch, but what he's done with the fans, and he said the atmosphere, he'd never seen the atmosphere like it at St Mary's that it was last week. OK, they beat Arsenal, but little things like the fans got in early, he bought all the season ticket holders a drink before the game. It's
brilliant.
The touchline behaviour, celebrating with every player. Things like that aren't rocket science, but it really endears managers to fans, doesn't it?
It's all about a connection, isn't it? It's getting that connection back to the fans, because the fans pay their money to go up and down the country, especially at home games as well. They can literally really drive you on to win games. So
it's a big old...
Yeah.
You know, when you were playing and you had a manager on the sidelines that was more animated like that, or maybe more reserved, did that affect you?
Yeah, it did.
Honestly?
I loved animated ones.
Did you?
Yeah, it did, yeah. Because you just feel like they're right behind you. Like Chris Hughton, obviously, for instance, he's very much never gets too high, never gets too low. But when you get managers like, you know, Hassan and Klopp, things like that, you know, it's brilliant. I love that. I'm all for the emotions of the game.
Was that
You know,
really
breaking down stereotypes as well, that Germans, you know, have no sense of humour and they're not very, you know, emotional people. Look at the pair of them. Bouncing.
Just having a look at the replay of Jamie Vardy's goal, big goal, and it does bring us on, with all the games finishing, to the Football Social accumulator. Let's have a look how we got on. Here we go. Right, Steve, you went for draw, Bournemouth, Brighton, wrong. It was 2-0. Steve, you've had a nightmare, to be fair. You also went home win, Chelsea, Leicester, wrong. It was an away win. Dave Jackson, correct. Huddersfield 1, Southampton 3. Hamill, you went home win, Man City Palace. Incredibly, that didn't come in either.
What an idiot.
Will, home win, Newcastle, Fulham, didn't come in. And I went for draw. We've had an absolute mare. All of them didn't come in, except for Dave Jackson. Dave Jackson, what a day.
What a day.
Arsenal have won.
Football's
It's been beautiful. It's the best Christmas ever.
Christmas cracker.
I have a question.
Let me finish. The only man with a Football Social result, right? And you're going skiing next week as well.
Oh, you're skiing? Where are you going?
I don't know, somewhere in Italy. I don't really know.
Wow, look at him.
Has this result cost City the title? That's the big question. That's what people want to know.
the question on the stream?
That is the question.
Pep out for me.
Pep out.
Pep out. We do have to talk about the title race, as we say. It blows it wide open, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And, well, the ball's in Liverpool's court now. They got a chance to extend...
Crazy that the margins are that tight.
Catch them if they can.
The start that they've had, we say start with getting to halfway through the season. Yeah. Just, you know, it's going to go to the wire. It's going to go down to the wire.
Well, let's have a look at the table. We can see just how that result has affected the table. Liverpool fans will be absolutely delighted. You are top on Christmas Day. 48 points from 18 games, plus 32. They now have a 4-point lead over Man City. Spurs, 39 points from 17 played. Played tomorrow in the live Sky game, of course, at Everton at Goodison Park. Chelsea in 4th, and Arsenal equal now in Chelsea with 4th. So Spurs can have a little bit of breathing space as well if they win at Goodison Park tomorrow ahead of Chelsea. Man United in 7th, of course, play very shortly. Let's have a look at the bottom of the table. Fortunately, Steve, Fulham stay bottom. Huddersfield, equal on points with Huddersfield, and Burnley make up the bottom 3. Cardiff with that game in hand in 17th. So it's tight at the top, but also incredibly tight at the bottom as well.
Fulham would have took a draw before that game today.
Would they?
Yeah, Fulham would have took a draw.
A 6 point, that's what they say.
Yeah, away from home, though. This Christmas period coming up, start off with a draw, that's fine.
Of all the good football we've had today, that game was absolutely stinking.
Was it?
Summed up by the last player of the game, the referee stopped it and got him both.
What, he just had enough?
He just hit him and he broke up an attack. And
an interesting Mitrovic moment, you said, at the very end, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he could have scored, and the goalie's juggling it around, and then the referee just stops the play with his bum.
OK. So that game did end 0-0, but with plenty of good play in the other games. Let's just go back to social, Dave. A lot of people joining the stream, apparently.
There is a question. Can Liverpool go on... can they go undefeated? No. Is a quick answer.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't
Dan Lovren thinks they can, though, so...
Yeah, he thinks he's the best defender in the world, doesn't he?
What, he said one off
the 3rd.
in a calendar year, so I won't have you, disrespect Dan Lovren.
I think... Will, do you think they can go unbeaten the whole season, considering we've all said no quite quickly?
Yes, I do think they can go unbeaten.
Yes, Will. Love that. Positive energy.
Staying up as well.
Well, to be fair, Will, from the very start, show 1 always says, I think Cardiff will stay up, I mean, there's still a lot of football to come, but you're sticking by that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Did it begin as a joke, and then actually you've checked out their underlying numbers, and you know what? Defensively, they're all right.
You took the words straight out of my mouth, Chris. I think they're going to stay up this year because of a number of reasons, Warnock and Bamba being the main 2.
It's beautiful, that is.
Yeah, that's lovely. That's
Father and son.
more than football.
It's a great marriage.
Surrogate son, isn't it?
Did you have any managers that you were like a surrogate dad?
No, not really.
No? Just thought I'd find out. No.
Ever come across Sol Bamba?
Let's go back to the feature game. Another one of your former clubs, Chelsea 0, Leicester 1. Very disappointing day for Chelsea. Now, let's talk about Sarri, because he started so well in this philosophy, but you look at Chelsea recent results, obviously losing to Wolves, losing very badly at Spurs, at Wembley, of course, losing again today. Are they getting found out a little bit, do you think, in the way that they're playing?
I think it was always going to be a transition year. I mean, Sarri coming in, didn't he, right at the end of pre-season. Transfers, that whole debacle was ridiculous with Conte going out and then the players that was coming in. They got off to a good start, but, you know, they weren't convincing in their games.
No.
So I think this year was going to be a transition year for them. I think they'll be top 4. I think that. But
there's a bit of a gap now. Obviously, Spurs win again tomorrow. They open up quite a big of a gap between third and fourth.
And now Arsenal obviously breathing down the necks as well. So I think they'll grab top 4.
Spending, Jam. Let's talk about who they need. We've spoken about the hazard in the false 9, the fact they don't have a striker of the ilk of the likes of Harry Kane, the likes of Aguero, that other teams around do have. Aubameyang's on fire, of course, as well for Arsenal. But do you think they will buy a striker?
I think they will look to, but it's just such a dangerous. I'm not a fan of the transfer window in January. You know, such a dangerous. You can get some signings that are
There's no obvious target, is there?
No.
Who would you go after?
And sometimes if you're better off waiting 6 months to then plan an attack for your targets rather than just sort of go ad hoc and get the second best or third best. So I'm not sure.
A lot of managers say as well, you pay a premium on strikers in January because it's midway through the season. It's a tough time, particularly up front.
Plus, they got hit the ground running as well. You know, they got no time to adapt. So,
Sarri survived at Napoli without an out striker. I mean, Dries Mertens became a striker, but he found a system that worked with his existing personnel. I think when he bought Arkadiusz Milik, he got injured after about 9 games for a good year. So, you've got to back him to find a way to still score goals. But it'd be interesting to see who they go after because it's not really clear at the moment, is it?
No. Do you think they'll spend it in any other areas? Do they need to strengthen at the back at all, or?
I think he's probably keen to lose a few players. Drinkwater being one.
Moses, maybe.
Moses
has been linked actually this week, wasn't he, with moves away from the club. You think he needs to get rid of players, to sell players, before he brings them in?
I mean, Abramovich hasn't thrown as much cash around in recent years, has he? And Chelsea have looked to balance the books somewhat. So I think there is a little bit of deadwood to be moved on, which we might see in January as opposed to big players coming in. But I've not even heard rumours around Chelsea moving for players. And normally when that happens, you know, there's no momentum there. It would be a surprise if they pick up anyone.
Hear about now,
sizable.
The thing now is as well, all the top clubs, they're going after the same player, aren't they? And now it's not...
Like Isco, he said earlier, he's thinking with all the big Premier League clubs.
Whereas a few years ago, it was just basically you was either going to a Chelsea or a Man U, whoever's top, whereas now that top 5, 6, they can splash the cash on any one of the players.
So a couple of players in the Bundesliga that they've kind of had an outside chat with. Luka Jovic, who plays for Eintracht Frankfurt now, he's gone off like a rocket, 10 goals, 10, 11 goals at the start of this season, and Bayern are now sniffing around, and that seems like a more natural transition for him. Eintracht Frankfurt to Bayern makes more sense, and they've got to kind of replace Lewandowski. So even the players they have been linked with, better homes for them, maybe better suited homes. But it'd be interesting.
Dave, let's get the last few questions before we end this stream. Keep your final questions coming in to us at SoccerM, at Football Daily. Use the hashtag #TheFootballSocial before we do go.
Got a question from Jean-Francois saying, getting beat by Crystal Palace, is this going to refocus Man City? Like, you know, will they like, is this almost like a kick up the bum they needed to get back on track, or is it just a little blip?
Do you get that? In a lot of people say that you get a reaction when you win a derby match, when you win, but you sometimes get a reaction when you lose a game like that unexpectedly, don't you? Did you find that in your playing career?
Yeah, definitely. I know we keep on saying about this Christmas period, but if there's ever a good time for it to happen, it's going to be now. You know, games are coming now thick and fast. Obviously, they've experienced winning silverware. They want to go for it again. You know, they got the squad's ridiculous, isn't it? As far as quality goes. So, but that mentality now is going to be key for City.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Chris?
I mean, losing against Ajax was supposed to be that kick up the bum. That's what Pep Guardiola said in the Champions League when they got beat 3-2 away from home, was it? The Parc Olympique. I think the stats of that game will probably suggest that City were unfortunate to lose there, and that happens. I think it's nothing more than a blip, and they'll carry on scoring freely and rolling over most sides. But David Brooks, mate, look at him in top left there in action. Sign him up.
Another two goals. We talked about
BB7.
Townsend's goal, but 2 good goals for him. We're talking about if Chelsea will sign. Do we think? I mean, Man City, if any, for me, looking at it from the outside, if a club that doesn't need to spend, it's Man City because of their strength and depth. But they are blessed with such financial backing and power there. Do we think that they might strengthen now? Does a result like that will that change anything for them in the transfer
If
market?
they do, they're going to have to get players out before they bring players in because the squad will just be far too big. But then again, sometimes bringing in a new face just freshens things up, just picks a few players up. I think it's always important to bring a minimum 1, 2 in. But obviously with City, as I said there, the squad that they've got, they can't just bring a couple in. Well, I know they can. Literally, have got the resources to bring a couple in. Just say to the others, right, you just out the fold. But a fresh face can pick a dressing room up.
Yeah. OK, interesting to see what City do. Right, it is that time. As we approach the end of the stream, we can have a look at our best bits from today. Here it is. Mark is coming in with the teas, the floor manager. Happy Christmas to one of the hardest working men at Sky.
Southampton!
Oh.
Go!
Let's go to the game!
Get on it! All aboard the Acker!
Before the penalty, Wigan 1, Birmingham 0. Sorry, no, it's the other way around. Wigan 0,
Merry Christmas, one and all!
And now they have scored after 26 minutes. Manchester City 1, Crystal Palace 0. Oh my gosh, what a goal! Another goal! Townsend has just scored to make it a goal.
Wow.
Steve, how good is that?
There are 2 keepers in there. They're not saving that. Leicester,
It is Crystal Palace find themselves 3-1 up against Man City. Some big characters.
Sure, of course.
There is a goal! Fraser talks about it, and Mark floor manager brings in the snap. Chelsea are in! Chelsea are in! Yes! What a day. Really enjoyed that day. Right, that is it. Quite emotional, that is. We've come to the end of the last football
Bloody
social
Christmas
before
feast.
Christmas.
Oh, man.
Big thanks, Steve. Thanks for coming on again. Are you going to come back on in the new year?
100%.
Brilliant. Okay, Chris Hamill, absolute pleasure as always.
Thanks, pal.
Dave Jackson, Social Corner.
Yeah,
brilliant as always.
loved
And
it, mate.
Will in our armchair role. Couldn't have done any better, Will. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's remind us of what is on Sky this weekend. Big Super Sunday game, Everton against Spurs, 3:30pm on Sky Sports Premier League. That is tomorrow. Then a whole feast of Christmas football for you next week. Boxing Day, Fulham versus Wolves, 12pm Sky Sports Premier League. Followed by Brighton against Arsenal at 5pm, Sky Sports Premier League. Followed by Watford against Chelsea, 7:15. 3 games for you to enjoy. And the Football Social is back on Thursday, January 3rd for a Man City versus Liverpool special, 7:30. That'll be on Soccer and Football Daily's YouTube. Massive game, that is. Massive thanks to our Sober. Thank you all for watching, for joining in. We'll see you in the new year. Bye-bye.